I can reach the highest
Of all the heavens, somebody will be waiting for me. So
live.
I've got to fly higher.
I want you to know, Joshua, that I hit
going.
record just as you started singing.
Damn it!
So we did get all of that. And that's the beginning of our discussion.
For Sonic!
Sonic the
movie.
Hedgehog, the trilogy of films.
Yes, ignoring Sonic OVA from the 90s.
We'll
talk about that later.
From the 90s.
That's
That's the stretch goal for the next stream.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like the canon Captain America movie from the 90s.
Yes.
Versus the MCU.
No, it's the Genny Tarkovsky Clone Wars cartoon
versus the Dave Filoni Clone Wars cartoon.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Except
there.
the Genny Tarkovsky cartoon is actually decent in terms
There's
of
good stuff
quality.
in that Sonic OVA too.
There
But we're not
is,
here to
like-
discuss that.
No, we're not.
We're here to discuss the movies where Sonic has an owl mom, not an owl best friend who wears Sonic's cool clothes.
The coolest clothes. What if that shows up in Sonic 3?
If he,
Let's
we'll place
theorize.
bets on Sonic 3 occurrences later because we're discussing Sonic 1 and 2 on the eve of the release of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I mean, technically,
There's already a showing right now.
Yeah.
Should we just do a best of the worst for the Star Wars Holiday Special where we don't talk at all about Sonic 1?
No.
No,
we don't
we've
have
got
time.
We've
We've
got
only
to talk
got
about Sonic 1.
So we, Joey had seen Sonic 1 and 2 previously. Joshua and I had not. So yesterday we marathoned Sonic 1 and 2 back to back. And I think it's weird that depending on when I release these, because I still haven't had time to work on anything related to YouTube for like 2 months. But the first dedicated movie discussion we've recorded, other than Advent Children, obviously, was a double feature of Mission Impossible 1 and 2. Now this is a triple feature.
Yep.
Yes.
Previously, and I not as much of a difference between Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 as there was between MI 1 and 2. But I would still say a gulf. There is a disparity
Correct.
between Sonic 1 and 2. And then, we will be going to a screening of Sonic 3 presently at the conclusion of this recording. So, Joshua, I think you probably knew the least about these movies of anybody in the room because
Yeah.
Joey had literally seen them, and I pretty much knew everything that was going to happen and
Okay.
kind of the tone, with one kind of exception that I'll talk about in a
Okay.
second. So, Joshua, what was your reaction to Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, the movies?
Going in, I'd really only seen the trailers, and I just knew that Sonic was living in a gangster's paradise in that first movie.
And that really
That movie,
fits.
that song did not come up in the movie.
I was really
and
sad
the
when it
tone of the
didn't.
movie is so thug. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Sonic's definitely not acting like a little lost Labrador retriever
Right.
that's got like slight brain damage.
He's definitely not a 15-year-old acting like a 9-year-old.
Yeah. So okay. So am I going to give the brief plot synopsis of the movie? I guess.
If you want to. We're going to spoil Sonic 1 and 2, and then
So-
we're going to spoil 3 later.
So Sonic is the most powerful being in the cosmos, and so his surrogate mother, who's a giant owl, sends him through a portal so he doesn't get murdered by a bunch of bloodthirsty echidna. He ends up in Green Hills, Montana, where he spies on the townsfolk for a decade while accumulating
Possibly.
random crap
I think
like
it
a
was.
magpie.
I think it was. He was like 5 years old.
It
when
was.
that happened. I think
It
a
said
decade.
10 years later at one point, Jacob.
So
you just missed it.
It was a decade.
It was a decade of him literally just hoarding stuff like a magpie and spying on people. And he really likes certain people in town. He really likes Chris Thorndike and his wife. I mean, what's his name?
I don't even remember. Donut Lord.
John.
Her name is
Don-
Maddie, I believe.
Oh, Maddie was the girl's name, but what was Chris Thorndike's
Tom.
name?
His name is
Tom.
Tom. We'll just call him James Marsden, though.
Yeah,
Okay,
James
yes.
Marsden and his wife, who he's a cop, she's a veterinarian, I believe.
So they're perfectly equipped to deal with this. That's he uses all of his cop skills, and she used all of her veterinarian skills in this movie.
Yeah,
right?
and so Sonic's super depressed because he's lonely because he's an 8-year-old, and even though he's 15, and he makes a giant EMP happen
because he ran really fast.
Yeah, so the U.S. Army gets involved, and the U.S. Army employs Eggman.
Eggman works for the Pentagon.
The Pentagon.
It's unclear what branch.
Or
it's
anything.
And
unclear.
he goes rogue within like 5 minutes.
And it's not Gun. GUN is not established.
Does not exist
Gun
yet.
does
no.
not exist yet.
Well, Joey, that would require the people making the film to know anything about Sonic the
Yes,
Hedgehog.
correct. It was, as we were watching it, it was extremely apparent that like the bones of this is made by people that didn't know or care about Sonic.
What are you talking about? He eats a chili dog.
Stuff like the fact that they didn't put, like that they later implement. Oh, we introduce Gun in the second movie. It's to deal with extraterrestrial and supernatural threats or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like there are a bunch of problems with the first movie and even with the second movie that would be easily remedied by what if we put like a Sonic thing here?
Yes. Yes,
But anyway, Sonic has in this universe rings are portals, not extra lives.
They're teleportation
that sends you wherever you want to go.
You hold the ring,
you
you think about the spot you want to go, and it makes a portal.
And thinking is like really, it's really kind of fuzzy because Sonic can see a picture of a place he's never been, not even a picture, just an illustration.
Like an illustration,
of San Francisco.
The word
and he goes,
San Francisco.
And he goes San Francisco as he's falling diagonally, and then he falls through a portal.
Well, he didn't fall through it. His portal rocks
rings
fall through
fell through a portal, and it was put on a building in San Francisco at the top of the Rem Lazar building.
Anyway,
and this
he has
is
to go
what
on-
that happens, of course, after he gets shot with a tranquilizer gun that he could have dodged using the powers that is
but he went
demonstrated in
meow
this film.
instead because
Well,
it was,
so this
it was
is
so goofy.
So the linear breakdown of the plot of this movie isn't that crazy. Sonic and his new friend James Marsden he's trying to use the rings to go to a safe world because Eggman is looking for him. He's alerted the US military to his presence as an alien life form. He needs to flee to another dimension, but he loses his rings because he accidentally opens a portal to San Francisco and accidentally drops his rings through it.
So they have to go on a road trip.
So they have to go on a road trip, and
in the Sonic movie.
There's like one road trip scene, so it's really not really a road trip movie, but this is an easy framing for children's films. And Eggman tries to catch them and stop them. It's really fairly straightforward.
Yeah,
there.
it was really surprising to me when the road trip, like they got to San Francisco, and I was expecting like, oh, so then there's going to be another beat and they have to go to like one more location because that just seemed obvious. And then the movie just ended.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It is a how do I put this? It's one of those things where you don't want to be too mean because you forget how bad movies can be.
Yeah.
Like as in terms of like bad children's entertainment, that movie was totally a totally acceptable distraction.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I believe like back when I first saw it, like I was like, yeah, that was a good enough kids movie.
That was an acceptable
It's
kids
like-
film that had exceptionally little to do with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes,
we'll
but
get
it's
back,
like
we'll loop back to that.
Go back to a few years ago of the mood when they showed it off originally when they were talking about a Sonic movie. It's like the below zero hopes for
Yes.
that
Yeah.
film. After watching it, going in with that mentality, it's like no, it was fine. There was a disgusting lack of Sonic stuff, but I was like, a stupid 5-year-old that goes to the theater is going to be like, I like Sonic.
So I guess like brief positives to run through with it.
The biggest one, obviously,
Is Jim Carrey.
Yep.
As Eggman is funny because he's doing his Jim Carrey thing.
Yep.
And he's good at doing his Jim Carrey thing. He's been good at that for like 30 years now.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He's
The
locked
movie
in.
would probably be miserable without him.
Yeah.
It is very funny. And I will say this because it's one of those things where you assume like, oh, this is only going to be like have anything resembling quality writing when he's on screen, probably ad-libbing. But there is some good dialogue
Yes.
and some good jokes elsewhere in the scene. The biggest thing that surprised me about it was actually James Marsden in this.
He's
Right.
like somewhat committed.
Well, no, I wouldn't even say like not even about his commitment level. I mean, he is in fact like he's not completely sleepwalking his way through it, but it's not a complicated role or anything. The thing that surprised me was characterization wise. I expected I expected his character to be somewhere between where he actually is and where the supporting character Wade is.
Yes.
Yeah.
In terms of intelligence and capability, I expected him to be kind of a dumbass schlub.
But instead he's like actually relatively competent.
He is, I would honestly say, shockingly competent.
Yeah.
For a children's film where the easy thing to do is for the characters to all be stupid, and that creates the conflict. Like, he actually, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say he, quotation marks, outsmarts 300 plus
But,
IQ Eggman.
I mean, he does dump his phone almost immediately.
Yeah.
Which is something, not to get ahead of ourselves, but something that Sonic is too stupid to do in the second film. So actually, like, he's showing that he is a more intelligent character than the dumb child.
Yes.
When James Marsden said when she was like, I've been trying to call you, and he said I had to dump my phone so they couldn't track me, he is smarter than most characters in actual espionage films for doing that.
Cough, cough, Mission Impossible, cough, cough.
We'll get to
But
that.
I was gonna
some other
say
day.
also, like, writing wise, like interactions between him and Eggman throughout the film is genuinely like some of the highlights.
I
for him.
really expected him to be constantly outmatched and just like as Jim Carrey like riffed.
I thought it was going to be Marvel dialogue. I thought it was going to be like,
And there
well,
is.
you're one crazy
There's Marvel
character.
dialogue.
Am I
There is-
right,
sure,
fellow
there
is-
gamers?
Sure, there's Marvel quippy stuff, but I just mean, like,
meow.
the fact
That's the greatest line in film history.
I just mean like the fact that like when Eggman's trying to knock his door down, like that he actually like holds him up and kind of and even like, hey man, I'm a cop, and he's like, oh well yeah, I don't care, I'm still gonna shoot you in the head. But like the fact that he did things that I expect him to be too stupid to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it kind of, we didn't bring it up, but it goes in with his like mini Hallmark character arc of like, oh, he's been accepted to work in like an actual big city.
Yes.
And so it's like that in itself shows like, okay, well there is like a recognizable level of competence for
Yes.
him. But it actually plays out, which was refreshing.
you can understand why he feels like he is underutilized here in this small provincial town.
Just don't bring up the whole Donut Lord thing. 'Cause that was the
Yes.
dumbest.
What do you mean the Donut Lord thing? You mean how he loves donuts? 'Cause
Donut
he's a
boy,
cop.
that's me.
I want to
Yeah.
also point out that like that after the initial montage where it's like he eats one donut and talks to one donut as like
After
a joke
that, he-
because
Yes.
he's bored.
Yeah.
They don't even like stop and get donuts during their road
No, they
trip.
don't. The whole Donut Lord thing is like feels like it was cut.
You know what would
I mean?
Yeah.
be? You remember when they drive
Maybe they
past,
lost a sponsorship.
Maybe.
possible.
Maybe-
lost a
maybe
sponsor.
they lost-
Yeah, instead of they had
had
to
Dunkin'
double
and-
in on the Olive Garden
Yeah,
money.
exactly.
They were gonna stop at Dunkin' Donuts originally, but then Dunkin' saw this design for Sonic and said, "Ooh."
And they didn't have time to replace the donuts with breadsticks.
Oh no.
The breadstick lord. He should have like the world's biggest ball of rubber bands or whatever that Sonic
should
wants
have
to
been a
stop for.
donut.
It should have been the world's biggest donut. And he says, "Come on, you want to stop and see the biggest donut, right?" And he says, "No, but you love donuts. How do you know about that?"
It's like a
Yeah.
no-brainer, but
so many easy things to do.
yeah.
And also, like, I guess this is like really shallow praise, especially because most of the movie is shot during the daytime. But it's one thing that stands out in modern movies. It's like lit competently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's not like an insane level of color grading to make it look like shit.
And I will say, once the design is fixed, Sonic looks fine
Yeah.
for most of the movie.
For most
There
of
are
it,
random bits where you're like, why is it so low quality here?
and
But
that's
you have to be
and that's
paying
because they had to
attention.
redo all of it.
my
Yes.
favorite is in the second movie where he shows up on like a little FaceTime. Like,
Oh, it looks so
like
bad in
camera,
And it looks like
a demon.
it looks like a low LOD
Like-
version of him.
Yeah.
But that's enough talking about positive. Let's talk about how this movie
It's
sucks
not
and is
great.
awful.
Yeah.
So Sonic is
A little scared boy.
a sarcastic asshole most of the time in his characterization. He's got attitude, and he's the fastest thing alive.
Exactly. But that was the old days.
I mean, he's still like that in the games too, if we're being real.
You're correct, but not in this film.
Because the studio knows what's best, and kids like cute, agreeable characters that make that they can project themselves onto / think of as their friends.
Yeah, definitely. Because, when I was, 8 years old playing Sonic Adventure 2, I was like, oh man, he's kind of too cool. I don't really like this guy.
One of the greatest miscalculations.
He's got too much attitude.
One of the greatest miscalculations of many miscalculations with the Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was I got to put Anakin in here
To appeal
so
to the kids.
all of the like 6 to 10-year-old boys have someone to relate to. It's like they all want to be
They want to be the
Han
cool
Solo
guy.
and Obi-Wan.
And Luke
They
Skywalker,
want to
yeah.
flip around and shoot things.
It's so dumb. Because it's like you could just ask a kid, or you could think back, like ask the person that made this decision. Hey, say, what characters did you look up to when you were like 7?
Kids don't want to be kids.
No, they want to be the cool guy.
It is the
Yeah.
fundamental universal truth that children do not want to be children.
Yeah. I wonder if someone told George that between the first and the second movie, and that's why the time.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but originally Anakin was going to be like a young teenager.
Oh yeah, why'd he change it back?
I don't know. There's a bunch of storyboards that were released for like an initial draft of the film where Anakin is much closer to Padme in age, and also where Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan both have like widow's peaks, and they look more like samurai.
Okay, that sounds cool. Why
Well,
didn't they do that?
let's be real. It probably still would have sucked.
Oh, it would have sucked, but it wouldn't have been as the dialogue between those two wouldn't have been as creepy. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, but speaking of
that's true.
sucking, let's go back
Back
to
to
this
Sonic.
movie.
I didn't mean to start talking about Star Wars. But
I
then
love Star
I just wanted to use, I was
Wars.
just using the Jake Lloyd thing as an example.
But yes, Sonic's characterization is pretty trash. in
And
this film.
his power level is incredibly inconsistent.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
He can EMP an entire. Well, first of all, I want to point out that he EMP'd like the entire state.
Yeah.
But it didn't get far enough to like destroy San Francisco.
But it
which
destroyed a
But it
satellite.
destroyed a satellite, so it's got more. It's got
Yeah.
more vertical spread than it has horizontal.
Apparently, yes.
Spread. And also the fact that like his speed levels are completely inconsistent. They
my
do
gosh.
a really lame recreation of the Quicksilver scene from Days of Future Past for a bar fight with unfitting music.
Remember when he gives that guy a wedgie?
And then he does it one or two more times in the movie.
Yeah.
And because nobody on the staff said, hey, you do know that
There's a thing called chaos.
there's a
control.
thing that will come up in the later movies where he can stop time.
It's not just that. It's also it's like it makes it inconsistent within the film because it's like, well, if he can do that, how did he get shot with a
Tranquilizer
yeah,
dart.
trank gun?
Or anything that happens.
anything.
Anything. How could anything negative happen to him?
And
He
it's
could
like
just
because
do
it's
that.
like at the very beginning, it's like, oh no, the drones are after him, and he's so scared and he's so frantic. It's like, bro.
to use
Later in the film, these exact drones, he's like dancing on them.
To use the Days of Future Past example, Quicksilver leaves the movie after that scene because he's too strong.
Yeah.
And Sonic can just do it when he feels like it.
There's not even like if he drank a Red Bull or something.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
If he drank a Red Bull while he
really
was at the
fun.
bar,
You
it
could
would've
even
been
go.
fine.
You could even go back to the classic comic book days, and it's like, oh, he found a ring, and that powered him up.
So this is what I want. So there,
They
were
should have pulled an Iron Giant. It should have been that Hogarth drank coffee for the first time, and he's like super hyper. And like
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all you had to do.
easy. There's so many options here.
But they went with
he's
none
a
of them.
cute babby child, like the audience, and it would be immoral to give a
He's
babby
only
child.
15. He's such a babby.
It'd be an immune to give. It would be bad to give a babby child a Red Bull. It would be irresponsible parenting, since Tom is his dad.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's his friend in this one.
He's his best friend and also his dad. Which I mean, that's like, hey, listen, in Gilmore Girls. There were the whole pitch was, what if it was a mom and a daughter, but they were kind of more like best friends than mom and daughter. So maybe it's just like that. That was the pitch when they walked in. It's going to be like Gilmore Girls, but Rory is a magic speed
No,
rat.
the pitch was, hey guys,
God.
we got this IP that stupid kids will pay for. Let's get this bread.
And
the kids
nobody
went,
needs to take it seriously.
Sonic, Anakin.
Yeah, there was the one scene that you pointed out. So there's a scene where Sonic gets like a sticky bomb stuck on him, and we were like, we'll just pull the gloves off. But then you were like, wait, in the original design, it wasn't gloves. He just had
Yep.
fur on his hands, and it's like, oh yeah, that's why he can't just like
Take
rip
the
this
glove
thing
off
off.
and throw it away. There were so many situations in this movie, and there's a little bit of it in the second movie, but not as much. There were moments throughout the first movie where you're like, these people are shooting a Sonic. Like I kept saying like multiple times, like these
This
people
is
are
a
shooting a
Sonic
Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Like during the bar fight
bar
at the,
fight,
at the
oh my
biker
gosh.
club, and I was like, everybody in this room is filming a Sonic. Like all of the actors are filming a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Yeah.
And they were just like repeated things of like, yes, this scenario, Sonic the Hedgehog has to ride shotgun in a car to get to a location.
Because he can't get there fast enough.
But there was another
because
one we
his
didn't-
legs hurt.
There was another one we didn't even comment on, which is that Sonic's power is super speed, and the MacGuffin that he uses is that he can teleport places so that he doesn't
Yeah.
have to go fast to get there.
Yeah, when we already saw that they were like, hey, go to San Francisco on your own. He runs all the way to the Pacific and back.
He's like, I don't know how to find
He
it.
I
should-
don't know how to find it. I cannot read map.
He was in Montana and he got to the Pacific in 5 seconds.
You know, it was more like 1 second, if we're being honest.
What is the they're gonna so over under for our first bet for Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Yeah.
Over under, does Sonic run out of rings in this film to remove that ability?
Early on, he either runs out of ring. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, or like they get taken.
They'll
But
get
it's like-
taken, or he will
Yeah.
will use his limited supply that he has when he came to.
He'll have to use the last few. That's my guess.
Maybe Shadow will kidnap. Well, maybe Shadow takes him so that he can get to the Ark or something.
Maybe
That would make sense.
Maybe Eggsman uses him to get to the Ark. Sure, that could
sorry
be.
about that.
No, don't worry about it. So that could be a thing. All right.
And then no, what Eggman would do is he would use the one to get to the Ark, and then he would toss them out the airlock, so that Sonic could never use them again. And he'd go.
But there were just so many situations in this movie that were like, again, would have been tidied up so easily with just making it more like Sonic.
Yeah.
Like if Eggman worked for a shady governmental organization called Gun. If Sonic's powers were a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, it's like there are like, I hate to bring this up, but I have to. It's like if you were to count the number of Sonic things in this Sonic movie, like you could almost do it on your two hands. And it's like we always joke about it's like, oh, ATST, ATST, pointing at things that I recognize, but it's like, but this is a Sonic film. Mm-hmm. There's a balance.
I do wish I kind of taken notes because like there were a lot of good jokes that we made during it, and there were like also good jokes that the movie made that like it would be worth like returning to and talking about. But the first film is broadly unremarkable.
Correct.
Decent performance from Jim Carrey. A really, really, really good final scene for Jim Carrey.
Yes.
And I'm stranded on another planet.
And he finally looks like Eggman. Yeah, that line.
Yeah, a lesser man would die in these conditions. I'll be home by Christmas. It's like an actually hard line.
And there were a couple of things like that. I don't think any of them were uttered by Sonic.
No.
But James Marsden got one or two, and Jim Carrey obviously got a bunch. We should briefly mention, again, not in the movie as much as you would expect, because the movie isn't like falling into a lot of these like traps these movies fall into. The character of Wade is in the film for like maybe 4 scenes.
Yeah, it's like 3 minutes.
the goofy.
Yeah, he's the buffoon.
He's the
boob of the
He's
group.
the Barney Fife to James Marsden's Andy Griffith.
Yeah, there you go.
And his one scene where he's like on the phone and all the feds are like surrounding him. Like that scene was kind of funny.
Yeah, that's the thing is it's like if he had been in the movie more, I probably wouldn't like him. You know what I mean? But he was in there
used
just
effectively.
enough.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then he's like fine in the second one.
His primary function.
Well, he does some funny things.
Yeah, exactly.
His primary function in the first film is to be emblematic of why James Marsden feels he is being underutilized in this town, in this small town.
It's because it's like Wade is all they need is like the impression you get. And so it's like, we have an actually like somewhat competent person. Maybe he would be better served by being in a city where things actually happen.
Though this loops back to what we were discussing at the end of the movie when the townsfolk like have that improbable moment where they rally behind Sonic even though none of them really know him.
Yeah.
And
Except
like,
for the one crazy guy.
the one
that's
crazy
like,
guy.
we
But
got
the
a
thing is,
blue-
Wade pulls out a gun, and the crazy guy pulls out a chainsaw. But we're like, this is Montana.
All of them should have
All of them
AR-15s.
should pull out guns.
Yeah.
All of them
it
have
should
AR-15s.
be like the ending of Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
We don't cotton to the feds coming around
Yeah,
here
exactly.
telling us how to run our town.
But we
anyway.
don't want kids to think guns are cool.
We don't want kids to
anyway,
think
so
guns are cool.
Sonic 3 has shadows.
Sonic 3 has shadow. No, they all
He's
have.
gonna cock an MP5. It's gonna be so cool.
No, they have laser guns.
Yeah,
This
they're
is
gonna
why
have-
Gun carries
yeah.
laser guns. In the trailer, Shadow does pick up a gun, but it is like a Star Wars looking laser gun.
And he's going to shoot robots with it.
He will probably shoot at Sonic and miss.
Yes.
But
And then he'll say, "Hell."
That damn hedgehog.
As he's looking at a
next bet
the Hoover Dam.
next bet. Will Shadow the Hedgehog say "damn"?
Yes.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I don't
3?
think he will.
Yes,
I
Eggman-
want him to. But I don't
Eggman
think he will.
basically said shit in the second movie. They're
Well,
gonna
no-
find a way for Shadow to say.
But he
damn.
didn't. He said shiitake.
He's gonna say "damn."
He said shiitake.
I want him to say damn, but I don't think he's going to.
I think Shadow will say "damn" in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I think that this is like a time-honored tradition for these types of movies, is you slip one damn, I think it was 3 dams total into the live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Yep.
There's nothing more exciting
To a kid.
as an 8 to 12-year-old than watching a movie that is not supposed to have swears in it.
Have swears.
And they say damn.
And why do you think so many kids love the Goonies?
He's going to say, wake the fuck up, hedgehog.
He might say that. He might say
I don't
that.
think he's gonna say that.
You don't know.
We got a chaos
You
to
don't know.
control.
We got a chaos to control.
My bet is he will in fact say
Yeah,
damn
okay.
in the movie.
Okay, I want him to, but
But you
we'll
feel
see.
not. That's fine.
feel not.
That's fine.
Will there be Chow in the movie?
No.
Yes.
Yes?
I would also say yes.
No. This is in the trailers.
Oh.
They are at a Showbiz
yeah.
Pizza Bear
Yep, I
type
remember that.
establishment in Tokyo called the Chow Garden. There is an animatronic Chow band performing on the stage.
That's it's kind of
They
okay.
are not real in-universe
there is-
creatures.
Yeah, it's like the Chow will not be there, but their visage will be.
The Chow are an in-universe Hello Kitty type brand, probably.
You can do that now, Sega, if you weren't cowards. Anyway,
So I feel like we have more to say about Sonic 1, but when we were
Like
watching
what?
the movie. No, I just mean like we made so many funny jokes when we were
we did.
watching.
well,
it.
it's because we didn't have a
horrible.
choice because we were bored out of our gourd.
Yeah, 'cause it was
Oh, I want
terrible.
to talk briefly about James Marsden's signature move of punching people in the face.
It was really good.
It's really lame and super flaccid. I feel like he should he should have been like the kicker for the local football team in high school. He should be kicking people in the groin, or he should have a nightstick. But I was just thinking when he punches that guy during the wedding in the second movie, I was like, oh yeah, it's his signature move. He always runs up and punches people. I guess that's one other thing in terms of his competency. Like without him like having a line of dialogue, without him like having a shot of realization, and during the finale of the first movie, he is smart enough to pick up the rings and use them to ambush
To
Eggman.
teleport him
He
to Mushroom Knuckles.
and it doesn't
planet.
do much, but
Yeah.
it was a good effort.
Yeah, but the point is, again, just like the fact that he had any level of competence
Yes,
whatsoever.
it was refreshing.
Okay, so let's move on to Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Oh wait, no, number score for the first one. Go.
Oh, number score? I don't do number scores for things, dude.
Do it now.
A 5.
Yep. Sure.
Okay, I was gonna say
there's
4.
There's
It's well, you gotta. I have to grade these things within their realm.
Okay,
and it's
fair.
an acceptable children's film.
Fine,
it's-
I'll rate it
it's-
a 5.
It's 3 chili dogs out of a pan of chili dogs. How many is in a pan? That's for you
That's
to
for you.
decide.
Did eat a chili dog, and we were debating whether or not that was added in post or not. Because every
Yeah.
time something that felt like Sonic happened, it was like in a CG. It was CG. It was just CGI Sonic. We were like, was that a change made when they were redoing the
When
design?
they were like, we got to put more Sonic in this Sonic movie.
And it's like 2 legs, we've already shot it, but can we incorporate anything in the CGI? And when he eats a chili dog on screen, when he's doing Quicksilver stuff, and he
Yeah.
grabs chili dogs out of the air. So like, was that added? Was that in the original shot?
No,
or did
I'm
they
not.
add
I'm not
that?
going to give it a rating, but I'll say what I texted my friend earlier when I was talking about these movies. I'll say the first movie, it's like it is a fine enough, competent children's film, but if you're a Sonic fan like we are, it's like you probably can just miss out on it because it's like you're not really going to miss much. It's fine, but I'm not going to recommend you go watch it unless you're really fiending for that blue hedgehog.
Alrighty.
Unlike the second film,
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 has more Sonic things in it. There's still...
it's got more of everything. There's more Sonic. There's more Sonic characters. There's more budget. There's
the
more
budget
sets.
the budget is substantially increased.
There's also
They shot at the Four Seasons.
They shot at the Four Seasons in Hawaii.
I think
More sponsorships.
I think that the first thing about that movie that kind of shows they're on the right track is just the fact that within like the first 30 minutes, Sonic is being characterized slightly better. It's not where it needs to be, but it's better. He's not little lost puppy anymore. Where it makes you want to die.
And also it helps, I guess, his jokes are like marginally improved.
Slightly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't floss in the second one.
Eggman flosses,
Only
though.
Eggman flosses.
And it's
in the
much,
second
and I gotta
one.
say, it's way funnier when Eggman flosses than when
Correct.
Sonic
So
flosses.
true.
I'm glad Knuckles didn't attempt to floss at the end of the movie.
His hands are. I don't think he could. I think his hands
That's
are
the
too fat. I don't
joke.
think they could. I don't think they could animate it physically without it clipping.
They should have gotten Idris Elba to do it in the studio.
Yeah,
Maybe he might
mocapped
have.
it.
He could have done that.
He could have.
I'm sure he can. I'm sure he could floss. I'm sure he could figure
Well,
it out. It's not that complicated.
when he
of a
wasn't too
dance
busy
move.
doing a sexy voice for Knuckles.
Yeah, I wasn't really how I
really
approached
trying to
the character. I wasn't trying to be
voice the
sexy. I don't
woodland
know.
animal to be sexy or not.
So yeah, Tails is here.
Tails is
Knuckles is
here.
here. Eggman looks more like Eggsman.
One of you commented about characterization, saying that Sonic is basically Tails' personality, and it's rough having just 2 of them.
Yes.
In the first one, I would
I mean,
say.
even in the second one, I would
still
say
kinda baby.
their personalities are too close.
Yeah.
So when in any scene where the 2 of them are talking, they're just the same guy.
Yeah.
The only distinguishing feature that Tails has is that Tails is a Sonic the Hedgehog fanboy,
Yep.
which feels a little weird because
Yeah.
He didn't
he
really
just
do-
met him and he I know he's been watching him with his spy satellite,
But it's
and
like he doesn't really do that much.
Yeah.
I mean, he chills around in his JO cave for 10 years, and then
he didn't
he
like Tails didn't
fights
even really get to do
Eggman.
anything like dorky.
No,
He didn't get to know anything about. He had gadgets, but he didn't get to like do anything technical.
And then half of his gadgets were just used by the human characters rather than by him.
Yeah,
is true.
he does do it a few times. He does some things. He stuns Knuckles for a second with his bolas or whatever.
He also gets in a cop car and drives cop.
That was
car
so
around.
funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
The scene where because first of all, yes, it's funny that Tails drives a police car and crashes into Knuckles with it.
Yes.
However, the wide shot of like Tails driving the police car, Sonic in the passenger seat, and Knuckles like trying to punch through the roof like
It
the
just
T-1000.
looked like Terminator 2, yeah.
Well, no, specifically, it looked like children recreating Terminator 2.
Yes.
It was like they looked like there were small children doing stunt sequences in the police car, which I found deeply amusing personally.
Yes.
The human characters are not in it nearly as much, and again, that almost feels like it's just because like budget. Like there are so many shots in Sonic 1
Where they weren't.
can we please not have Sonic in the same shot as James Marsden right now so we can save the money? Whereas there's a lot more of the second film that's just like entirely CGI or almost all CGI.
Yep.
Eggsman is here.
Why do you keep saying eggs, man?
X-Man.
Agent Stone has a little more to do in the second movie. In the first movie, he was really just there to be someone for Jim Carrey to talk to.
Yes.
In the second film, he's got more to do like comedically.
Yeah.
He has more just to contribute to making it like
and
a
being
film.
an actual evil sidekick rather than just being a character.
It's just a guy who's there who, for him, again, for just so Jim Carrey has someone to speak to within the script.
And it's like their synergy is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is enjoyable. He is just enamored by Eggman.
He just thinks Eggman is really cool.
And Eggman is tsundere about him, but also not
But
the
he
whole
appre-
time. It happens.
time.
Yeah, he develops it later on.
He appreciates how good Agent Stone is at making coffee.
Needs mushroom, though.
He does appreciate. Well, we really loved it in the first movie. In the second movie, he just needed a little update because his tastes had changed. But that's my point. Is that even though he acts like an asshole towards Stone, he does appreciate certain things about him. He does want him around. He does want his help. He wants him as part of the team.
It's good stuff.
But yeah, the second movie had significantly fewer scenes. Where you're going like these people were shooting a Sonic film. However, I was thinking it during the dance off in Siberia.
Oh god,
I was
that
thinking
part
about
was horrible.
I was thinking
Yeah, it
about the
was not
shot
good.
where there's not the human actors dancing, it's Sonic and Tails dancing, and I'm just thinking about being an actor in that room, like all of their eye lines are wrong. Everybody are like gets looped around the room
It's
clapping,
bad.
and none of them know what they're looking at. None of them know what movie they're shooting.
It was rough.
That
It was
entire
definitely
Siberian scene.
like maybe the worst part of that whole film.
It is. The
But it's
worst
followed
part.
up by the most Sonic thing in the whole movie, which is snowboarding down a mountain while robots chase you.
Yeah,
so
That was good.
It was.
It's crazy.
It's crazy how this movie had good moments.
I'm even going to say it. The scenes that they had with the human characters
Were good.
got in and out quickly and did their job. We
Yeah.
weren't. I really assumed we were going to be cutting to the Four Seasons constantly to watch
Hashtag
them drink Mai
the Four
Tais at the Four Seasons.
TM.
Yes.
Because I assumed they're going to want to save money and not be showing the animals, so we're going to cut here constantly. In reality, we saw like 2 scenes with them, and then there was a purpose to it.
Yeah, the
There
C-
was.
the C-
I think that subplot was funny.
No,
I really
yes.
did.
I forget if he's from CSI or Criminal Minds, but CSI or Criminal Minds, Crime Man. Yeah, Crime Man. Turning out to be he's actually a federal agent in this, and he's catfishing.
we didn't talk about the
sister.
we didn't talk about the sister in law.
A good example of stuff that's actually funny in the first movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
her getting tied up and her daughter being like super into
Gotta
the whole
go
Sonic
fast,
thing.
gotta go
Like,
fast,
that was
gotta go
really
fast.
funny.
Like she's funny, and her absolute disdain for Tom is extra
And
funny.
it's never explained.
Yeah, it's
I'm glad they did
undeserved.
never try it.
He's like- he
It's
seems like a
just-
perfectly
he's like
nice
a
guy.
perfectly normal
She
guy. And
hates
she's like,
him.
I hate his gut.
divorce him.
Divorce his ass, leave his ass in the garbage.
And even Criminal Minds Man in the in the second movie, it's like at first he's like a hard ass to him, but it's a joke. But he's like, yeah, but she really does not like. She really hates.
you seem
your
pretty
guts,
cool,
man.
but you should know she despises.
But yes,
That's a genuinely funny joke.
Also,
and
the fact that they were federal agents and they do the Top Gun shot for him and his groomsmen
Yes.
is really
that was the
funny
other thing that was
then-
really funny.
Yeah.
Was James
Oh,
Marsden
It's like
playing
just
volleyball?
he's like just as jacked, but they have to have him keep his shirt
they're
on.
like, look
so,
at this
like,
nerd. And it's like, bro,
James
he's
Marsden
ripped.
James Marsden is in Hollywood shape.
Yeah.
You can tell. You can see his pecs through his shirt, but he's being, he's being emasculated by these 4 Top Gun looking dudes who are all playing volleyball shirtless, and then there's that moment where he shakes the dude's hand, and you're like, his biceps are as big as the other guy.
Like, literally.
But yes, no. So the whole reason they're at the Four Seasons TM
Is because they have excellent Mai Tais.
It's because they have excellent Mai Tais, and also sister-in-law from the first movie is having a wedding there.
And she is actually getting married to a federal agent, and the entire thing
is to try to draw Sonic
is a
out.
ruse because they think maybe Sonic will show up at the wedding.
Yeah.
Which he wasn't going to.
No, he wasn't going
really
to until he snowboarded through a portal.
All they needed to do was assign one CIA satellite on James Marsden's house, and they would have nailed his ass in 5 seconds. But that would have been too simple.
Yes, and everybody at the wedding is an agent, on both sides,
which is very funny.
Presumably the bride's family wasn't.
The 15
but just
people.
the immediate family.
Yes. No, it was really the shot where suddenly the entire wedding party all pull out guns.
Yeah, and they're just all aiming at Sonic.
Is legitimately funny. Maybe it's maybe Guardian Unit of Nations, since it's so new and people don't it's like, oh, you guys are hunting aliens, huh? Maybe they have no money, so they don't have satellites to task.
Well, if they have no money, why are they at the Four Seasons?
TM.
The bride's family pays for the wedding.
Yeah, bride's parents pay for the wedding. Maybe that was why he had to propose to her, because it was the only way they could actually
get the funding.
The only way they could flush Sonic out was they had to come up with something that she could pay for.
I'm trying to think there's either a movie or a real world example of it's like a situation where a government agency or a spy group where they have no money and they're you could just the CIA in general, but I'm trying to think of some example of a group that had no money and they just did the most bass-awkward cockamamie schemes.
The Black Hand in freaking World War One at the start of World War One, trying to kill Franz Ferdinand, just chuck grenades at his car.
These are good examples. This is my point. There's a lot of real world examples.
And then the guy who it actually worked out for, he was just eating a sandwich
happened to be eating a sandwich when they stumbled.
And the guy the car broke down 5 feet from him, and he went, "Oh,
Eureka!"
Bang!
Because I will point out, all the dudes at the wedding, they don't have actual guns. They just have tasers. We do see a tank and a helicopter and Humvees in Montana, which they got to Montana real fast to the middle of nowhere to respond to this.
Seriously.
But maybe they only got maybe the thing is that the US government doesn't take the alien threat seriously, but when they heard that Psycho Robotnik might be back, they were like,
oh god.
take all the gear you need to go blow up the mean bean. That has Wade inside of it right now, and Jim Carrey being possessed by the spirit of the Master Emerald and levitating and shooting lightning out of his
That was not
fingertips.
what I was expecting from the Master Emerald, to be honest.
The Master Emerald plot, or the mechanics work a lot different.
I was not expecting them to be freaking Dark Phoenix.
I was going to say, in complete fairness, the Master Emerald is wildly inconsistent in the games too. It's fine.
Well, especially the size. We were talking about how the first movie, it's the size of 2 Knuckles, and then in the second, I said movie, game, and then in the second game, he's holding it in his big knuckle.
But also, Eggman needs a claw machine to carry it out in the same game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's inconsistent just within SA2, dude.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, because there still wasn't we hear the Green Hill theme a little bit at the ending of the first one, but there's still not a lot of Sonic music sneaking into the second movie. And there's so many obvious opportunities, the scene where Knuckles is stuck and Sonic goes back down even though he can't swim to try and help Knuckles escape.
Yeah,
it's playing really somber orchestral music, and I'm like, instead of make it exciting and play the drowning music as he's drowning.
Yeah.
They even have him eat from a bubble. It's one of the references.
Yeah,
in there,
they could.
It doesn't even go wop wop.
They should have just straight up put in the wop wop sound, and who gives a shit?
The thing is, everything we're talking about, it's this movie was a step in the right direction. Hopefully 3 will be. They just go all in.
So here's the other thing. Will there be a Crush 40 song in
Live and Learn is going to play in this
film? I think it's going to be an end credits theme.
No, it's going to play during the final fight. I have every confidence that Live and Learn will play during the final fight.
You're giving this movie too much credit.
I've seen a lot of very positive reviews for this. I haven't read any of them, but people are excited. People are hyped, and the fact that it's already got so much just Sonic stuff in it, they will Crush. Live and Learn is going to play in this movie, and it's probably going to be a new arrangement. It's going to be a new performance of Live and Learn.
Yeah. Okay, well, will it be Crush 40 or will it be a new vocalist?
It could be a new vocalist with like a fully orchestrated. But honestly, they've already got Crush 40 like there, and honestly, he's
Yeah.
cheaper.
I mean, they already
He can still
referenced Crush
sing.
42.
He has like live performances. Sometimes there's a little bit of struggle, but it's like Johnny still got it.
We'll
June's
see.
still got it.
But I have every confidence Live and Learn will play.
They wouldn't
in
have made
this film.
they wouldn't make the Crush 40 reference in the last movie if they were going to play Crush 40 songs but get a cover band to do it. That
That's
would
true.
just be a dick move.
To be completely fair, the Crush 40 reference is a blink and you'll miss it cameo that was added in digital effects that might be yet another instance of after they hired that guy to fix Sonic's design, did they go, maybe we should put one or two things about Sonic in here.
Hopefully it's more, though.
There's not really much to say about, like, again, like, I repeat what I said.
Standard.
Repeat what I said earlier about, like, Tails and Sonic's personalities are too similar. Idris Elba's is a good actor, and he's not bad in this, obviously, but he's not doing anything remarkable.
No, it's fine.
It's
still leaning more towards Himbo Knuckles.
I was also going to say it could have very easily slid into just being Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was really worried about that.
And it did not. It toes the line. It's like a similar vibe, but it's not just doing that, so it's fine.
He honestly reminded me more of Worf than he reminded me of Drax.
Sure, a little bit.
Like, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, and the human characters had I don't know, less to do, but their scenes were had clear purpose in the film.
Like, they all kind of did one thing.
The two sisters, just having to break everybody out of the Four Seasons, felt a little bit
That was kind of
that was a little bit weak. Like the fact that oh no, I'm surrounded by all these goons. Don't worry, the other one threw a magical boomerang that just beat them all. It's like, oh, that was all you got. That was the extent of your juice.
Yeah, no, it was kind of like as soon as Criminal Minds guy dove in front of the taser, like that was kind of where that part just kind of fizzled out.
That needed to be more. That scene where he says, "Actually, I really did love you." Like that should have been
super melodramatic.
That should have been way over the top soap opera acting and swelling music. That should have been played because it was a joke, but they didn't play.
I wonder if
enough.
he's going to be in the next one as still part of Gunn.
I'm sure he'll
be Sonic's because Gunn is still going to be kind of I'm not sure how we feel about this Sonic guy, and he's going to be like, no, Sonic's the best.
Nah, listen, I've come to realize, with my connection to the Wachowski family,
the Wachowskis,
that Sonic is actually a chill dude. And there's going to be...
And he wouldn't steal the Chaos Emerald.
Will the President of the United States take a photo with Sonic and Shadow at the ending of the film?
I will cry if he did.
Sonic, people are scared. They're scared of a man that looks like a hedgehog.
They're scared of a black hedgehog that looks like you. Anyway, yes, there's not really a ton to say. It's got more Sonic stuff in it. It is a more entertaining children's film.
It is a
much
more entertaining.
I know y'all still think that Sonic's personality was wrong, and I would agree, but I would say it is a step in the right direction.
It was, yes.
Basically, everything about 2 is a step in the right direction.
Especially the opening scene, there is at least some of the adventure era Sonic where he's kind of being he's wisecracking at the dude who is tied up in the armored truck.
Yeah.
Of oh, you're an idiot. I'm gonna take care of this. And then I don't know, at the end also, or sorry, not the end, but when he's alone at the house and doing a bunch of bullshit and being super irresponsible, it comes across as more the school is whack and so are rules, tucking in your shirts for fools.
Sure.
Type vibe.
Yes.
When Tails shows up and he's actually on the adventure, he skews back towards first movie characterization. But in the vignettes at the start, I think he's better characterized.
I agree.
First.
I think it's truly bizarre that Tails didn't have to build or fix anything at any point in the movie. Or even when Sonic solves the easy to brute force 4 squares puzzle in the temple, Tails should have done that.
Yeah.
Tails should have had to...
Tails should have built the tornado or fixed the plane instead of just hijacking it.
Yeah, it should have been they saw over in a shed there was a plane and Sonic's
Oh, that plane's been Farmer Joe's been talking about repairing that thing for years, but he never will.
And and Tails is I'm on it, and then 2 minutes later it's fixed, and he's how'd you do that, Tails?
He did put guns on it.
He did add guns to it off screen.
Yeah, I wish it had been on screen.
Which is that's fine, but it's more surprising.
I wanted to see Tails lugging a 50 cal machine gun on his shoulder.
But I'm glad.
Is that so wrong?
If nothing else, at least he used gadgets, and he is I built these gadgets myself. It would have been nice to see it though.
There's also just individually like funny sequences, like the part where Jim Carrey is running alone in real life with a CGI Knuckles next to him in the movie realm. He's running through the set of the Legend of the Hidden Temple. That was just silly. But again, in other instances where in another movie, maybe Tails would have had to solve some puzzles, but also this is an expensive movie.
That honestly, that movie had to be pretty frantically paced to get through all it was.
Oh, for sure.
It's over 2 hours, which for a kid's movie is very
Which, by the
long.
way, this new movie is an hour 40 minutes.
Okay.
It's actually shorter than part
it
2.
honestly felt like a lot of the shortcomings of 2 were because they were trying to lay so much narrative pipe because the first one is so much nothing.
Yeah.
It really felt like it's okay, well, we have to set up. We can't just focus this third one on doing the Sonic 3 plot and establishing Knuckles and all that. We have to also establish who Tails is.
Tails says some crazy shit in this movie.
Yes,
we've been watching. We're part of this organization. What are you talking about?
He's part of S.H.I.E.L.D. in this movie, which is really weird. But yeah, it's
He never explains himself.
They have to establish Tails. They have to establish Knuckles and the rest of the Echidnas. They have to establish the Master Emerald. They have to establish how Eggman gets back. They have to also establish Gun. It's the first movie could have at least done Tails in the third act and establishment of Gun.
Speaking of Tails, his character was really funny when when Sonic is we're gonna do this. He's we what? No, I'm not really a field agent, guy. It's you hop through the portal and your introduction was taking a car and ramming it into you've been in the field, my man.
So really quickly,
I can't go to Russia. I'm an analyst.
Before we discuss predictions for Sonic the Hedgehog 3, before we have to get out of here, there's something important we have to do because there's another important part of the universe we haven't covered yet.
Okay.
Because none of us have watched the Knuckles TV show.
Oh God.
Well, Flames of the Yacht.
The Knuckles TV show focuses on Knuckles and Wade, the dopey cop from the small town. Includes a number of other new characters. For example, the mysterious buyer, who is a former associate of Eggman's, who is trying to clandestinely acquire magical alien powers, played by the guy who plays the Hound in Game of Thrones / Lurch from Hot Fuzz.
Why?
Wade also meets up with his estranged family, including his father, who's played by Carrie Ells of Princess Bride fame. Also, by the way, in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, since we mentioned that earlier.
That man has had such a career renaissance. I'm so happy for him because he was a big deal in the late 80s, early 90s, and then just fell off the map because he got Hollywood fat.
Knuckles is struggling to adjust to home life in Green Hills due to his warrior lifestyle, which even affected Maddie's plans to have her house rebuilt after Dr. Robotnik's attack. Taking Sonic's advice to make himself at home too far, furious Maddie grounds Knuckles because they're their parents. They've adopted all three of these 15-year-olds.
Tails is 12.
After soliciting
Tails is the baby of the family. He's the baby.
After soliciting advice from deceased Echidna elder Pacha Kamak, who is voiced by Christopher Lloyd.
What?
Knuckles takes up Wade, who was recently kicked from his bowling team was recently kicked from his bowling team for the upcoming tournament in Reno, Nevada as his apprentice. Wade decides to let Knuckles accompany him to Reno for the tournament.
Yes.
During their trip, they are tracked by corrupt gun agents Mason and Willoughby. They intend to capture...
What are you, Mason? It's been around for a week.
They have very low recruitment standards, and they have no money. They have no money, Joey. That's what we established. They have budgetary problems. They're behind on payroll. They intend to capture and sell Knuckles to the mysterious buyer who supplies them with weapons configured from Robotnik's technology and powered by Knuckles' quills.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
At a roll, because it's not explained that the two of them have inherent power based on their
Sonic
quills.
is power and Knuckles is power. Well, who cares?
Tails doesn't have power though.
Maybe in the third movie.
Who knows?
He'll fly high.
So skipping ahead a little bit, we get to Boise, Idaho to meet up with Wade's mother. And his older sister, Wanda, who is an FBI agent who is immature and constantly belittles him. They are preparing for a Shabbat dinner, but Wade is despondent because of his mistreatment from Wanda throughout his childhood. That night, tension quickly boils between the Whipples, which is Wade's family's last name.
Oh my god!
And Knuckles learns about the family customs from Wendy. Wade secludes himself...
Why does everyone have the last name W? Wade Whipple?
They all have the first name, the W as well. Except for Carrie Ells' name. His name is... Pistol Pete Whipple.
Oh, that's so good.
Anyway,
Bang, bang.
Does Snuggles ever get a cowboy hat?
This Wikipedia
better.
synopsis I'm reading right now has been updated since literally last night. Someone
God.
revised
There's gonna be
this
spoilers.
ahead of the
movie.
movie coming out.
Oh my God.
This is different than it was when I read this literally last night.
Someone was like, "This isn't good enough. People aren't going to be confused."
Knuckles learns that Wade's reason for wanting to go to the tournament is because his father, bowling champion Pistol Pete Whipple, will be competing. A group of bounty hunters learn of Wade's wanted status.
Oh, Team
and strike-
Chaotix?
No, they're normal humans.
Oh.
But Knuckles and the Whipples manage to dispatch them, allowing the family to reconcile and watch
Kill them all with blocks.
watch the Shabbat candles dim. Now the synopsis of episode 4, titled "The Flames of Disaster."
Flames of disaster.
The next morning, following Shabbat dinner, bounty hunter Jack Sinclair, Wade's former bowling partner, kidnaps Wade to turn him in for the reward money. Knuckles chooses not to rescue Wade, deciding to use the experience to teach Wade independence, and also because it's very expensive to animate Knuckles in every episode.
That is correct.
Yep.
Unable to escape, Wade is advised by Knuckles to visit the great battleground in the sky for guidance. Wade successfully visits the afterlife, which takes
What?
the form of a bowling alley.
What?
Where Pachacamac teaches him through a low-budget rock opera of Knuckles' origins. Wade comes to learn that the warrior's greatest strength is the heart, allowing him to escape and challenge Jack to a joust, which he wins.
Wait, when did this become the plot of the last Harry Potter?
With newfound confidence in himself, Wade and Knuckles continue to Reno, now joined by Wendy and Wanda.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Wade moves up the ranks in the tournament, pitting him against Pete in the finals. But he's reconciled with Pete, and their relationship is seemingly resolved. It has seemingly been repaired. Mason and Willoughby, the corrupt agents, forcibly are taken by the buyer, who reveals he is a former agent of Robotnik. Willoughby convinces him to give them one last chance to recapture Knuckles. Witnessing him and Pete bond, Wendy warns Wade that Pete will eventually leave him again.
Damn.
Oh my God.
Visiting Pete's rooftop penthouse because he's a champion bowler.
Oh my God.
By the way, there are also like real ESPN like bowling commentators
Of course,
appear in
of course.
this.
Good.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Wade
Who
finds
is this
Mason and
show for?
children.
No
Wade
one.
finds Wendy and Wanda hostage in Pete's penthouse, revealing Pete sold them out to keep Wade out of the tournament.
What?
With his family's lives at stake, Carrie Ells needs to win the bowling championship, Joshua. With his
my
family's lives at
gosh.
stake, Wade is forced to lure Knuckles into the penthouse where Mason and Willoughby prepare to ambush him. And then this is the description of the final episode. What happens in Reno stays in Reno. Having been secretly tipped off by Wade, Knuckles avoids the trap and fights the agents, while Wade frees his family. Knuckles defeats the agents by redirecting a pair of ring portals that suck them up, trapping them between
Why
dimensions.
are we still using these ring
Trapping them
portals?
between dimensions when the portals collapse on themselves.
Oh my God.
They'll come back in the Shadow the Hedgehog TV series. That's gonna happen.
Wade proceeds to the tournament to challenge his father in the finals, while the buyer confronts Knuckles outside in a giant mech suit. Wade rolls a perfect game to defeat Pete, but they are interrupted by Knuckles and the buyer's fight. The buyer catches Knuckles and drains him of his power, but Wade stands up to him, holding off the buyer with the help of his mother and sister. Also, I skipped a couple of episodes. He also has powered gauntlets.
Oh, that's sick.
Wade or Knuckles?
Wade does just like Vi.
Yeah.
He has they look like Vi's from like the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
Anyway, the buyer catches Wade and drains him of his power, but Wade stands up to him with the help of his mother and sister. Knuckles eventually regains consciousness, reabsorbs his power, and then the words "the flames of disaster" appear above him, and Wade famously says, "The flames of disaster!" And he and Wade defeat the buyer. Carrie Ells attempts to flee with the trophy, but he is subdued by Wendy and Wanda
this
as
is
Wade
so
and Knuckles
good.
celebrate before heading back home. And that is the Knuckles show.
And that is the end
Why
of the
didn't
movie.
we watch that? That's so good.
That sounds really good.
Alrighty, so now we know everything we need to
We
know.
now have all the.
We know everything we need to know about the continuity. So, I don't want to do too many predictions for Shadow the Hedgehog itself. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, I mean.
It's Shadow the Hedgehog.
It's going to be an adaptation
Sonic Adventure 2.
It's going to be a loose adaptation of
3.
Sonic Adventure 2. I have one prediction.
Okay.
And I shared this with Joshua last night. I had Brainwave. Okay?
Yeah, he's on to something.
I had Brainwave.
And I
Okay,
hate it. I hate it.
He's cooking?
I don't like what he's cooking, but he's
cooking.
right.
With regards to... So with regards to Shadow, like... What was my reasoning last night that I came up with?
He
for
wouldn't.
this?
okay, you said that Gerald wouldn't be happy and mukbanging about because Maria's dead.
Okay, yes. So I said Gerald would not be wacky woohoo Jim Carrey man because he's sad about Maria being dead, right? That's the wrong characterization. Okay?
Okay.
So, what if it's not really Gerald Robotnik? What if it is a trick by Black Arms in a Genova-esque
Oh my god.
projection
Bro.
to trick Eggman into doing their bidding and Shadow into doing their bidding?
Bro.
What if
You mean Black Doom, right?
Black Arms is the name of the organization.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's the name of his army.
Okay, I got you.
I'm right. Aren't I, Joey? Am I crazy?
Sure.
It's Black Doom.
The guy's
Well,
name
the guy
is
is
Black
Black
Doom.
Doom, but
The
Black-
invasion force is called Black Arms.
I think you're right, but I'm not. I wouldn't bet on it because I'm not.
Black Arms are an alien race who once tried to invade the world,
Black
says the Sonic
Arms
Wiki.
was.
It doesn't say was. The Sonic Wiki, they're
They
not a bunch of
are.
degenerates. So that's my only real shot call for the plot of Sonic Adventure 3, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, is that's not really Gerald Robotnik. He wouldn't be Jim Carreying it up if he wants revenge for Maria dying.
Good. I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking about that earlier today and I meant to bring it up, but I forgot. I was like, I literally remembered like the commercial and I was like, that's weird though.
Now listen,
right?
it is also entirely possible that they just don't give a shit. Or even that they've changed Maria. Maybe Maria wasn't shot by the cops.
Yeah.
Maybe, because she certainly couldn't have been shot by gun because it didn't exist.
Yeah.
Maybe she just dies of AIDS.
Maybe.
Nibs.
Nids.
Maybe Shadow isn't upset because humans killed her, but because humans 50 years ago were so scared of AIDS.
I am okay.
That nobody would embrace her.
No, here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. If Maria does not get shot by a government agent, and I don't get to cheer when she gets shot, I am leaving that theater and walking home.
Now here's my thing, Joshua, because as you know, you've recently watched an animated PSA about how wrong, you don't have AIDS, you're HIV positive. It could be years before you get sick. Back then, people didn't even want to touch people who had AIDS or were HIV positive because they thought they would get it. Maybe Shadow
It's
is
nibs.
just
But this is
maybe Shadow is just upset because nobody would even embrace Maria, and she was banished to space because everybody was so scared of her
Okay, but this
super
is a
AIDS.
kids movie and kids don't know what AIDS are.
They can
Yeah.
explain it.
Walker told me I have AIDS.
A classic of the AIDS era. So I don't have a ton of predictions for part 3. All I've heard is Gene Park saying it's basically a Dragon Ball movie, and several other people who are like, this is vastly superior to the previous 2 films.
Amy's gonna show up halfway through, isn't she?
So this is the thing. This is the other thing is people have been freaking out about a shadow.
I saw a shadow.
that there are shots of
well,
Sonic.
a different shadow, not Keanu Reeves.
There are
shadow.
shots of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles where they are slightly off-center in the frame. Why wouldn't they just be framed centrally in the shot? Is that a shadow next to them? Is that being cast by Amy, who's secretly there? I used to think these people were probably reading too much into it until actually watching Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I realized there are, in fact, several shots that were in trailers where they removed Knuckles.
They removed Knuckles.
Yep.
Yeah. All
So
of the
it's-
shots on the... I know it's not the tornado, but I'm going to call it the tornado. All the shots on the plane were... Knuckles was in every single shot where there was a plane, basically. But he was in none of the plane shots in the trailers at all.
So maybe they're hiding Amy being in this movie. The Kristen Ritter as Rouge the Bat theories have already been disproven
So
because
sad.
she's given a credit as some doctor who works for
Shame.
Gunn or whatever. She
Shame.
would have been a good Rouge, and who knows? Maybe she'll get transformed into a sexy bat or
stop.
something like that.
Hey, okay, I've got a question for you guys.
yes.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Because obviously Shadow's not going to be the final antagonist of this. It's they're going to join forces to fight something.
Well,
Is it-
All the more
is it
reason
gonna-
why it's actually Gerald.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it going to be Bio Lizard? Is it going to be Metal Sonic? Or is it going to be something different?
I think it's going to be BioLizard.
I think it's going to be Gerald and BioLizard fusion.
Yeah, make it a real Dragon Ball. movie.
That'd be cool.
But this, okay, so this,
Or I think... no. Gerald pulls a... what movie? There's a bunch of movies where this happens, where bad guy is about to be defeated, and he's like, ah ha 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 ha, and he jacks himself into the mainframe.
Resident Evil.
sure, and he gets superpowers.
And no, he doesn't get superpowers. He transfers his
into a robot or into a giant monster.
into the giant monster.
Into the space
and then
colony
it's
arc,
Bio
and then blows
Lizard
up the
Gerald.
Earth.
That way, Bio Lizard isn't the most boring thing ever at the end of SA2. It's also, he's got the intelligence.
Well, that's why
of
I'm
Gerald.
saying I'm not convinced that the Bio Lizard will even be there, just because it's like we're all Sonic fans,
Will-
and I love the Bio-Lizard enough, but nobody's like salivating
Will-
over it.
Will Eggman, when he pisses on the moon, will he be vocoded to sing the Star Spangled Banner? These are very important
No.
questions.
Okay.
However, I will say I wouldn't be stunned if they slip a single solitary, extremely vague Snapcube fan dub comment
Yeah.
thing in here. Eggman will look at Twitter at one point.
Yes.
Eggman will look. He's like, I'm blowing up on Twitter or something like that.
That would be really funny.
He'll
that would
have
be really funny.
Doing that or comments about like different accounts he's got. He's like,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
multiple Twitter accounts.
the gun thinks that they're tracking me, but I have dozens of accounts.
Yeah, or you know, the only positives on me pissing on the moon are you know, for my own alternatives.
Something. I think there will be a single solitary. Was that a? Could it have been?
And
Yeah.
Snapcube dub reference. in the
Also,
film.
okay, as far as predictions go, going beyond this movie,
This
because
is
we
the
talked about this the other day. We talked about this yesterday. I just want to bring up for future reference. There's going to be another spin-off show like the Knuckles show. I don't know who's it about, but Rouge is going to be in there, and she's going to try to get information out of Wade, and we're going to have a moment where she's trying to seduce him. And Wade,
we were talking about this. There will be at some point,
and
because
it's gonna go awooga.
Because at one point Wade is like, I hope one day to say that to a woman, inviting her into my house. There will be a scene where Rouge, as a government agent, needs to work Wade over for information, and she is fake flirting with him, and he goes awooga, and it'll be very,
gonna
very
be
funny.
extremely
It won't
funny.
be.
But so here's the thing,
There's
right?
going to be a million comments
It's gonna-
on the internet. It's like Wade's one of us.
So will there?
Here's
Okay, so the only other character I could see being in this that hasn't been shown is, do you think Gamma/Omega shows up?
that's an easy ad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this movie's a little overstuffed, I think, already. Like,
Okay.
you got to get Shadow in there. You got to introduce the Space Colony arc. You got to introduce Maria. I mean, there's going to be there's a lot.
Maria doesn't
of,
have to be in there for long. She has to be in there for 3 minutes and then get blown away.
to get the audience to care about it at all. We have to have a little bit of a flashback. Don't tap the wire. That can sometimes mess with. The signal.
Damn, not here.
I do think that. So here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 post-credit stinger is Shadow.
Yeah.
I've heard people saying the mid-credit scene for this one is insane, quotation marks.
Yeah.
There is nothing.
And last time we knew it was going to be Shadow.
My problem is there is nothing cooler than Shadow. Joey's comment a second ago, fans don't really care about the Bio-Lizard.
Yeah.
There's not really a lot of Sonic fans, a lot of Sonic villains that are actually
care a lot.
beloved.
Yeah.
Memphis, Tennessee sucks.
Yep.
Zavok sucks.
Yep.
Metal Sonic is like cool, but he's also not a character.
The only one that is interesting from a design perspective and from like a lore perspective is Chaos.
So
He's the only one.
So first of all, I feel like the mid-credit scene has to tease way more than just one character.
It can't just be a character.
So what is it going to be? Joshua, you first. I think you spent the least time thinking about this as anybody.
Yeah, my lazy guess last night was that it's just going to be a lot of characters, and then what I was thinking would be insane was if it was like the entirety of Team Chaotix.
No, what would be insane is the portal from the Sonic comics that dumped all of the Ken Penders characters.
I think what's more likely is it's just a hardcore, okay, we're doing SA1 next. And we're going to show multiple characters who are in SA1. We're going to show Chaos.
Big the cat is the mid-credit scene.
No,
my
Big,
God.
and Big is in it. No, legitimately, it's like, oh, it's...
We
We were making that joke during the movie.
No,
when
we
they
were
were
talking
out
about-
fishing
I
with
was-
Tom.
yeah,
So you'll have to go
exactly.
fishing with Big.
Because I'm thinking, what's the natural progression of adding more of Sonic's stupid furry friends into it? And I'm like, okay, the average progression is from the characters now that would be introduced. Let's say that Amy is in this one.
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
Then it's like, who's left? It's the two that people know are Big and Rouge.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, I don't know if you could put Rouge in the movie.
You can put you can put her in
you
there.
can put her in.
Okay, fine.
She's gonna have a different redesign. It's fine. It's gonna be
Yes.
tasteful.
But
Tasteful.
They're gonna Tifa.
what a price to
They're
pay.
gonna Tifa remake her.
No, but
Yeah, because they really unsexified Tifa.
yeah, because
in the
Tifa's not sexy at all in
Exactly.
remake.
Just they reined her boobs in so much.
How dare they?
I can barely see him.
Oh God, no. But I think it's just going to be
The Italian Senate sure did.
It's
Right
gonna,
in there.
It's going to be a hardcore just SA1 tease for the next
Okay.
one.
But that's okay. But and I actually haven't really thought about this. But you
Yeah.
say people are saying it's insane,
Uh-huh.
and I'm trying to think about
So
that's the thing about this community is like, what is
What's-
an insane pool?
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Because it's
So-
like you could get. I was joking about
I'm
the
gonna say
stupid
insane is just something that gets
Gizoid.
people excited.
Yeah, but
So it
like,
has to be. So to me, that means it's not a character; it's a concept.
yeah, it would have to be, and I'm
Elise is
struggling.
gonna show
I'm
up.
struggling to.
Elise will appear in one of the even if it's
Yeah.
just like a ticker on like in universe CNN. We'll see something about the micro European nation of Soliana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Um,
but it's like what would get people excited?
Okay,
It's
so
like because
with-
I'm joking. I'm always joking about the Gizoid and Sonic Adventure, but it's like they're not going to do that
So-
because most fans wouldn't even know.
So let me pitch you
Yeah.
the scene.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to pitch you a post.
Yeah, this
post-credit
man's
scene.
probably thought about it way more than we did.
And this is so basically I'm skipping Sonic the Hedgehog 3 straight to Sonic the Hedgehog 4. I'm gonna make some assumptions here, okay?
Yeah.
We need to see Mobius. This is in the
Morbius.
post-credit scene, right? We're not
Yeah,
on
I agree.
Earth, right?
I agree. Morbius
And
is
we
going to show up.
specifically see the big drip. We see Chaos slip through a portal, being pursued but not stopped before the portal closes by Blaze, the cat.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And,
That would go
and she's
too
accompanied by
hard.
one or two other characters. If Amy doesn't show up in this movie, Amy is Blaze's friend / lady in waiting / muscle.
They could also
okay?
they could do Cream because Cream
be Cream.
Yeah.
because
Cream-
that's her
Cream and-
partner in
yeah.
Rush.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would say that was kind of what I was thinking, except I was thinking it would be Chaos showed up being followed by either Blaze or like I thought more just SA1
Sure.
straight up.
Sure,
So I was thinking maybe like Tikal. And then
If you're wanting to go
and then-
more traditional,
and
lore
then
stuff
and then
from
you
Sonic
and then
1,
you hear
yeah.
and then a frog jumps through at the last moment as it's about to and as it's like still there but like there's no one in the frame. We just hear, where did Froggy go?
Froggy.
And then that's
So-
the and then it doesn't close. It's still open and we hear like rustling heading towards and maybe like some cat, the cat ears, but we don't see him.
We hear the guitar riff from the beginning of the song.
So here's the plot of Sonic the Hedgehog 4.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
ready.
Sonic by Nega Eggman or Eggman or maybe another.
I don't know if you can say that.
You can say Nega Eggman, or
what he's called.
or another animal villain who is aiding and abetting Chaos in some way.
Yeah, sure.
Is going to force Sonic through a portal with no rings back to Mobius. Okay.
Yeah.
The B plot of the film is Tails, Knuckles, and the Wachowskis. Wachowskis,
Yeah.
Wazinskis,
It's
Mike
Wazowski.
Wazowski.
It's
Mike
Wachowski.
Wazowski.
Because we already know that there's like some, like for whatever reason, there is like Sonic World lore hidden away in Uncharted caves
Yeah.
on Earth for whatever reason, right?
Yeah.
So they on Earth are like, Chaos is here. Chaos is causing problems. Chaos is getting big, and he's wiping out cities on Earth, and the U.S. military can't do anything about it because it's just water, right?
Yeah.
It's just like the Transformers. They're shooting at it, and nothing's happening.
That's crazy.
So Tails and Knuckles and Marsden
Donut
and the
Lord.
other lady, they are going to go.
me.
They are
Yeah.
going to do the like. We need to go on a quest to learn about this creature and how we can defeat it. Meanwhile, Sonic is stuck in Mobius, where he is on the back foot from Blaze, who's a princess, obviously, who runs her nation over here.
Everybody has like amnesia.
And for some reason, she has beef with Sonic, either because of his backstory that we'll learn more about, or because she blames him somehow for why Chaos was able to escape.
I would
something
push back.
like that.
I
Okay,
would
you're
push
pushing back
there
on me.
because you're going to now have 2 films in a row where you're going to have the new
no.
furry friend who's introduced is going to say, "I don't like
No,
you."
no.
Sonic."
No, to be clear, they're on the same
Have a
team.
nice
They just
fall,
have
you
no.
stupid
They're on
bitch.
the same team from minute one. They have to work together. There's just friction between them,
okay.
which is recreating their Rush dynamic, where she's like, "I work alone," and he's like, "Come on, friends are great." Specifically, Amy will be the lady in waiting / muscle, so that Blaze can go, "Huh, he doesn't take anything seriously," and Amy can go, "Yeah, I mean, yeah."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Why
at
have
the-
you thought so much about
and
No,
that?
they
this is
will,
good.
And they will
He's
go on a
cooking.
quest. They need to find the Soul Emeralds so that they can go back to Earth, where Chaos is in the process of destroying San Francisco or Manhattan or whatever. And they will go supersonic and burning Blaze.
Supersonic!
Using the Soul Emeralds, and they will defeat Chaos together.
And then Blaze will die.
No, Blaze will return to her home planet, but Amy will opt to stay in the real world
Yeah.
with Sonic. That is, as she's going to know specifically,
Okay,
she'll be
hang
like,
on.
no, this is how it'll be framed, right? She's like clearly torn about staying because she's fond of Sonic, and Blaze will give her implicit permission to say, like, I could really use an ambassador here in this new world.
Yeah, well,
and that'll be how it's framed.
I was going to say it's like I don't think
stupid.
that I think they would in this scenario saying that all this happens. I think it would tease that the portal closes, but then it would be like we're open, like the government's like, okay, we're making a two-way portal,
permanent portal.
a permanent
A
portal.
scientist named Chris Thorndike.
Yeah,
and his wheelchair-bound wife Ellen.
Oh my God! Yes,
We
exactly.
brought it all home.
It's the good film.
Yes.
Hire us.
Hire us, Paramount. Hire us, Sega.
Oh my God!
Don't hire me.
More
perfect.
$1 billion.
More $1 billion.
No, so maybe
Straight
that's
to their
the
pockets.
quest. Is like it's like the Last of the Rings was used. So it's specifically what Tails and Knuckles and the humans are doing.
They're trying to
is
make an artificial
We're
ring.
out of rings. We need to find a way to create an artificial portal to get Sonic
Well, I'm sure
back.
they're
Yeah.
going to introduce the concept of chaos control in this film.
Sure,
It
sure.
can get expanded.
But the
on,
question is, how are they
yeah.
going to handle
no,
that?
no.
Because the emeralds are different now. They were micro emeralds that were
No, but
inside
that
of the
gives you
mask, that were
something for
inside of the compass.
Tails finally is able to do technical stuff if you do that, because it's like, well, from my year of observing Sonic, I was able to pick up certain intricacies about how the rings work, and I was about 60% towards recreating
And
one.
he's gonna be working with a scientist who works for Gunn named Helen. Who's in a
yeah,
wheelchair.
and
and Chris
and,
Thorndike.
no,
her
and
husband.
then it's Knuckles and the human characters have to go on different fetch quests to get different parts of what's
Yeah.
needed for the ring.
More of the movie will be spent in Mobius
Obviously.
in this pitch for Sonic the Hedgehog 4, but they will the humans will also
See,
be
that's
doing stuff.
too much. You're thinking too big.
No,
4
it'll
is
work.
just going to be hardcore SA2. Every character who hasn't been shown yet, who's in SA1.
No,
Every
because-
character who hasn't been in SA1 is just going to show
No,
up.
because the budgets are getting bigger. They have more confidence in the Sonic related materials. They know that that's even what the kids want to see, and this movie is going to make way more money
Yeah.
than the last two combined.
Yeah, because both of those were summer movies, right? And then this is
No,
Christmas.
no, it's not, because the original film was a January of 2020 movie.
Wait, it was a fuck you, it's January movie?
It was a fuck you, it's January movie right before the pandemic happened.
Oh,
Oh,
my
jeez.
God.
And
There
it
was a-
still was successful.
There was a meme a few years
Dodged
back.
the bullet.
There's a bit in the Last of Us video game where you can observe a movie poster. And like talk to and Joel will talk to Ellie about it. And one of his comments is, "I saw this right before the pandemic," and somebody photoshopped it to be a poster of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh man.
But anyway, so yeah, that's not so much my predictions for Sonic 4. That's my predictions, or for Sonic 3. I mean, that's my predictions for Sonic,
Sonic
4.
4.
But I think one way or the other.
Sonic 3 is pretty easy to
Sure.
to
Sonic-
predict.
Sonic
it's just
3
it's gonna be a greatest hits of SA2.
But that's hence why it's a little harder to predict the next one, because that's the quotation marks crown jewel as far as the fan base is concerned.
Yeah, because it would be very easy for them to do Sonic Adventure 1 and then go 2, but they're not. You can't go.
There's no
2
reason
and
they
then
can't-
1.
well,
I mean, no,
they
they
can do it in
can, but I'm
reverse.
saying it's like they can't go. Like it can't. They can't follow the books. For
I
that, 'cause It's going to
disagree.
be a lot less.
I disagree that
exciting.
SA2 is an easier one, or that SA1 is an easier one to do than SA2. I actually vehemently disagree.
No,
there.
no.
No,
because-
not easier. I'm saying it's easier
a
to do
de-escalation.
1 and then 2,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Yeah.
2 and then
When,
1.
if that's why I'm saying, like, because again, like, there's very few characters. There's no character who individually shows up and is nearly as exciting as Shadow, which is why you need the concept to be more exciting. And this is why I say, with more money, with the studio having more confidence that okay, maybe this Sonic thing, we don't need to just make shit up. I think that 4 will be significantly higher percentage exclusively animated in another dimension, because they've got the money. It's a runaway success with kids. This one's, like I said, this is going to make twice as much money as the first two movies combined. I have the utmost confidence in that, because there are going to be so many people who ignored the first two who are saying, okay, people said that the first two were okay, and I ignored them, but now Shadow's here, and in 2 days, everybody's gonna know that it plays Live and Learn at the end,
Yeah.
that Maria gets shot,
and that the entire audience cheers when Maria gets shot.
it's gonna do well weekend 1. It's gonna do really good weekend 2. When everybody's like, oh, it's got the stuff in it.
yeah.
Huh?
Speaking of the movie, though, by the way, what?
Yes, we do need to wrap right now
Yeah.
and get out of here. I mean, it's fine. There'll be a half hour of commercial.
Correct.
outta
I was
here.
just throwing it out
No,
there.
I agree. That was wrapping it up, and we'll
Will-
be back.
Will he jump out of a helicopter and skateboard down San Francisco?
No, I don't think so.
He might be in a helicopter at one point, but he's not going to talk about low budget flights.
And he's not going to rip off a panel and like snowboard. That's not going to happen.
Will Metal Harbor be in it?
No.
I'm so sad. I'm gonna cry.
Real world locations only, Joshua. Places we can easily shoot, Joshua. And also
And the
obviously
Ark.
the Ark, and also the Legend of the Hidden Temple,
and obviously an Olive Garden.
and Olive
We have to
Garden.
complete the trilogy.
We have to. If they don't go to Olive Garden, it'll be a big
What's the
problem.
new sponsorship?
The
okay,
chat
that's no, because that's not real.
Soap shoes are back.
Yeah.
No, okay, but that's the thing. It was
No,
Olive
no.
Garden, and then it was Olive Garden in the Four Seasons. It's going to be Olive Garden, Four Seasons, and what?
SpaceX.
I was gonna
They're
say
going to use a
SpaceX,
SpaceX rocket to get to the.
Yeah, I was thinking it was gonna be SpaceX. Yeah, that was too obvious.
Let's go find out together.
Oh no. And then we're gonna have to come back and talk about it.
Oh God. See you guys in a bit.
Alrighty, so
Lord.
just got out. So I guess before any like spoilers or whatever, just general. Hey gang, what did we think of the movie?
I thought it was better than the first two.
It was better than the first two.
Similarly to our Advent Children discussion, I thought we'd go ahead and start recording on my
guys,
phone.
look up in the sky. Half the moon is missing.
Oh my God.
It is half missing right now.
That's
You're
crazy.
right. Oh, that's why they released it on this specific
Oh my
day.
God. Oh,
It's even yellow.
everything
Yeah.
was planned. They dyed it yellow for this movie.
It's crazy that God was
It's
the
a
one that promoted
cross-promotion. That was the Olive Garden of this movie. It was the moon.
There was no
there was
Olive
no
Garden
Olive
mentioned,
Garden.
They have
Yeah.
money now.
which was extremely
They
disappointing.
have money now.
It is true. There were almost no corporate sponsors
I don't
to be
think
seen.
there were, was there? Like not. If they were, it was subtle.
Yeah.
There was no commander giving to Olive Garden. Did he die?
Yes, he died.
I don't know if he died or not. It was unclear.
It seemed
was
like he
unclear.
died. Spoilers. That was in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Also, by the way, first like 15 minutes were probably the best part of the movie. Unfortunately,
it was the
was.
first 15 and the last 30 were the best part.
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. But I mean, it's in comparison, it dragged, but it wasn't the first movie.
it's very funny that my compliments to the writing for
it
James
still- it's
Marsden's
still recording,
character.
right? Your
It
phone
should
went
still be
dark.
recording.
Yeah.
I don't know why it wouldn't be, but let's make sure. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
It's
we're
still
good. We're being chilling.
So I was thinking, like, you know, my compliments about the James Marsden character, that he wasn't like what I expected him to be behavior wise,
Yeah.
was what he was in
That's
this
what
movie.
he was in this movie, yeah.
Yeah.
He was kind of a schlubby moron.
Yeah.
But
By
he
the
was
way,
barely in it. So.
by the way, also 5 minutes to continuity error. I don't know if you guys noticed
Oh
it.
no.
At the ending of the first movie, Tom and Maddie have moved Sonic's belongings from his cave
Yep.
to their attic.
Yep.
But then in this movie, Tom goes, "Oh wow, this is the
your
cave
thing.
that you
Yeah, he
lived
would've had
in."
to move it. Yeah, I caught that.
Yeah.
Absolutely no respect for their own material.
Because the
Well, it's
first,
'cause
they
the
knew the
first one
first movie was
sucks.
trash.
There was-
my balls.
There were one or two other ones like that I don't remember. I guess one of them was the fact that Maddie's sister apparently also joined Gunn after
That's
she
really
married
funny.
that guy.
That
Of
one.
course they did.
Yeah, no, I was fine with that.
That was
I like,
fine, that was
that's
funny.
Because whatever. She's married into Gun at that
Yeah.
point.
All right.
Born into a mafia.
So, the movie, I saw comparisons before we went to go see it that it was like a Dragon Ball movie.
Yeah,
it was
kind
for
of.
parts of it. And I was there was a breakneck pacing to it that definitely felt like we got to get through all these beats in 90 minutes anime film.
Two was better paced because it went slower.
Uh-huh.
But it's a Sonic movie, so you want it to go fast.
Well, no, I mean 2 was too long. Like I was talking about in the thing, they were trying to, they had to build too much pipe.
Well, they
But
also-
honestly, this one could have afforded a bit.
There was
2
also
hours.
so much stuff that they wasted their time on they didn't have to in the second one. Like the whole like Tails seems to work for somebody and has secret satellites.
Yeah, like
why didn't
what?
he? Why didn't he just come here because he's like, I heard that Sonic came here and I gotta help him out from He could have a friend of Longclaw's told me that I had to come find you.
Yeah.
You know, like it could have been any of that.
Well, yeah, it was implied that the owls were fighting the echidnas. It could have just
There
been,
was a race war, and they both killed each other off.
Yeah,
This is
but
true.
Tails
That's
is
also
the sole survivor.
Look, all I'm saying is there's a lot of question marks to be answered in
Okay,
Kingdom
so
Hearts 3.
we should probably point out. So spoilers, you can bleep this out or move to this timestamp to avoid the spoilers. We got our theater to clap for Maria's death. For
I don't
pissing on the moon.
No, we didn't start
did not
that
start
one.
it.
No.
We did not start Maria's
So we should- we
death.
should-
The
we
only
should
one that
say-
I started was pissing on the moon.
There were I guess spoilers, yeah. So I want to talk about the movie broadly first. We went on opening night. There was, I'm pretty sure, one child in the theater.
Yes, there was one or two. That was it. It was like half full, and they were mostly freaks. Like us.
Mostly
it was
freaks like
mostly-
us.
yeah.
And it was a big disappointment because Maria does not get shot.
She doesn't
So
get
sad.
shot.
She's killed in an explosion that was caused by a laser gun. So
And
it's
it
weak
is
sauce.
It is weak sauce. However, it being there and seeing her being dead and everybody start clapping in the theater was good.
Well, it's
a
pretty
magical
magical.
Because it's like, I was like, oh, she didn't get shot, so we're not going to clap.
And then
as soon
people
as you
behind us started clapping.
And
As soon as we saw her dead body, people started clapping.
Yep, it was, it was
Glorious.
good. See, that's why you go to the theater. That's the only reason to
no,
clap
so-
at little girls dying.
Clapped at Maria's death. Also clapped when Eggman pissed on the moon, and I cheered when Live and Learn kicked in because
Yes.
I was right. Also, I was right that they said "damn" in the movie.
They did, but
it
not
wasn't
Shadow.
I just said somebody would say "damn."
Shadow did not say damn.
I was
though.
expecting it to be Shadow, but yes.
When I heard
right.
damn, I was like, oh, they're doing it so Shadow can say
Yeah, that's
it.
what
And
I thought
did.
too.
It was stupid.
I thought he was going to learn the word from Eggman.
And I really thought he was going to say Maria loved this planet. I will not let you destroy it. but
Very
he
sad
didn't.
that he did.
Yeah.
He did say Maria.
Oh, he said Maria several times.
Maria.
Keanu was not only an acceptable Shadow, I think I heard him emoting more in
Yeah.
this performance than I've ever seen him do as a live-action actor, which is crazy.
Well, once again, I mean, we all know he broke his knee on
when he
set.
fell to his knees because he heard about what they did to Maria.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm being a little sarcastic, obviously. I think, listen, that's just how Keanu is.
Yeah.
It's just how he is. But the fact that I really expected it to be even, I expected the performance to be even drier, I guess.
Yeah, no, he put some feel.
He put a little stank on it.
Yeah. That's good.
We still got a lot of questions, like why the hell are the 7 Chaos Emeralds inside the Master Emerald, and
Because
now
reasons.
where did they go at the end of the movie? I guess we'll
Honestly,
find out in the next
I'm
one.
fine with that because the amount of Emmadeus that are chilling around in different Sonic games is kind of stupid once you factor in Rush and.
Well, no, I mean seven is too many to have to worry about finding or collecting or sorting through in a 90-minute movie. It's more just a matter of why didn't they just make it the Master Emerald?
Yeah, because
Because it would save the
people
chaos.
need to see the gems fly around him and him get the hair dye.
I mean, you got to save the
Not
Chaos
Emmadeus.
Emeralds as an
Not
option
Emmadeus.
for a future movie, just in case.
I'm guessing 4 will be about the quest for the Emmadeus.
Probably because it seems like it. Yeah.
You're going to be dealing with multiple enemies, if you will.
Yeah, so far we've only spoiled stuff that you would know if you played Sonic Adventure 2.
That was kind of why I was like,
Yeah.
oh, no spoilers, because I was like, come on.
So let's talk about the rest of the movie. First of all, it starts with action, which was something that neither
That
of the
was nice.
previous films really learned. I
Yes.
guess I forgot. I forgot that the first film begins with "I bet you're wondering how I got here."
Yeah.
And there's
Whoa.
explosions.
yeah, the
Honestly-
second one is better because it's he's protecting a heist.
There are deer.
That is a long
That
dog.
is some good dogs. Just stop, let him go.
No, he stopped.
And
Went back.
And he's okay.
It's fine.
Nah, but yeah, it was kind of the opening was very much they kind of did the ending of Station Square, or not Station Square, Lord, City Escape.
Mm-hmm.
And then oh, what if there was a chase scene after that? Yeah, it was pretty good.
We open on action of Shadow busting out of prison, and then pretty much immediately Team Sonic has to go and fight him. And it doesn't. The fight was mostly just Shadow
Getting
curb stomping them.
murdered, yeah.
The chase through Tokyo was
That was good.
It's to be fair, it's really hard to photograph Tokyo at night and have it not look good.
cool.
But the 2 separate motorcycle chases through nighttime Tokyo look good.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Akira drift on top of Tokyo Tower.
That was-
I love that
vertically.
Shadow just knows how to ride a motorcycle.
Of course he does.
Because he's so
and he
cool.
immediately was
He uses
using
it
a
with-
gun.
and he
Within the
should've-
first 20 minutes of the movie was awesome.
We should have had 5 more minutes with Maria.
Yes.
And one other, and she should have changed it to a different movie because they were watching a scary alien movie, which made Shadow feel insecure. She should have changed it to Knight Rider or something.
Oh, yeah.
It should have been.
Or-
But then we wouldn't have had our BioLizard reference.
Yeah.
no,
that's a BioLizard
no. We still
reference.
could have seen that. I'm saying she should have changed it to something with.
No,
I
Yuri.
was so sad when that popped up because I knew BioLizard wasn't going to be in the
Guys, so I was also like, well, there he is. There's no BioLizard.
Yeah.
BioLizard's not
Yeah,
canon.
I was so sad. We're losing everything.
But yeah, no secret. Well, I guess if you want to say Gerald was the secret villain, but no secret second villain.
Yeah,
No.
that was kind of what I was expecting. You kind of brought me in with your theory right at the end, but I was kind of expecting it was going to be, Gerald wants to just burn it all, and then Eggman was going to be like, no, wait, we can.
I wasn't sure if it was going to be Black Doom, but I figured there would be something more than just Gerald.
I felt that there was evidence to it as the movie went on because it was they when in the first flashback to the 70s, they very deliberately didn't
Don't show
show
him.
Gerald's face.
So he could have looked slightly different.
And then when he was interacting with Eggman, like it was very clear that he was like deliberately buttering him up and driving a wedge between him and his lover Agent Stone.
Yeah.
So like there was a, you know, like it felt like, okay, so he's clearly, you know, that lent credence to he's trying to trick Eggman somehow. So that made me feel like there was a possibility he could be an imposter. But instead, it was simply he doesn't value Ivo because, quote, you're no Maria.
Yeah, that went so hard.
That did go hard. It was good.
You know another line that went hard? There was a
What?
really, really long build-up, and I was like, if he just says, you're my friend, it's going to be really lame.
Yeah.
Then he said, sick of friend,
Instead of sycophant.
and that was fantastic.
That was
so
really
terrible.
good.
You're more than just a sycophant. You're my sycophant.
So bad.
Yeah, no,
that was excellent.
No, Mr. Carey, just as good in this as he has been.
Oh my gosh, it was great.
The biggest like fan culture thing in this was Eggman is watching Spanish soap operas
Yeah.
starring the guy who plays
guy
Danny
from Ted
Ross on
Lasso.
Ted Lasso. And he's playing. It's the same actor playing two different characters. It's setting up the fact that Jim Carrey will play two different characters. But Shadow is seen watching
a Spanish
soap opera, and he sides with the Latina and says she should kill them both. She's too good for both of them.
I love Latinas, Sonic.
I can't believe that was actually a thing that they did.
That should have been the
Was that a
post-credit.
coincidence?
No, it was not a coincidence.
Did someone in the writers' room say he should be watching a Spanish soap opera, and then Shadow should comment on it and tricked everybody involved in the production? Didn't tell them about the Latinas thing.
I don't know,
It
because
was-
that would have had, like, the Shadow loving Latinas thing is so recent.
Specific,
I think
yeah.
it had to have been a happy accident.
No, I don't think so. I think it was, we need to have Eggman watching something stupid while he's grown and fat, and the obvious one to do is he's watching either bad romance movies or soap operas. That's the trope.
That is, you're
And
right.
then-
That is the trope.
And
Spanish soap operas are like
yes.
the ultra trope.
But then it could have been just a happy accident of, let's just make it a Spanish soap opera and throw a little bone to fans. That was kind of the impression I
That's
got.
my point. Was it an accident, or did somebody on the production make the plan? But it's not important. There were other like video game reference things in there, which was crazy.
Like what?
Like just some like a general aesthetic cues, like the way that certain like things looked, and Tails' hologram technology. Tails did technology things.
Tails
this time
did a
around.
lot in this movie.
And
It
we
did.
and we
I
actually
was wrong earlier. I was like, they're not going to talk about low budget flights.
and they did say
They said it verbatim.
It was so
Verbatim.
cringe, and the way Ben Schwartz delivered it,
It was
like
like,
he was
terrible.
looking dead at the camera. He didn't
Yeah.
like he could have just,
It was bad.
He should have delivered it like it was delivered in SA2. Instead, it was like he was delivering it at a con for applause.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I thought it was really funny when Kristen Ritter gets the key to the spaceship back.
Yeah.
And we're like, good. That's what we wanted
Yeah.
for the
And they're
Robotniks
like,
to
"No, we
not
gotta
be able to steal it. And then we
Yes.
steal it from her so we could lose it to Shadow.
I don't understand.
I don't trust big government, baby.
Where was the other key? Like after the Robotniks
I did
got it? Why
notice
didn't they
that.
just go and like grab?
I did notice that they only put one key into the terminal
Yeah.
after the whole movie was
Man.
about getting two
yeah,
keys.
like the other
Look,
key was
maybe they
on
could-
one of them. They could have just walked up to him, taken it,
Listen.
and said, "You keep that one, gun lady. We're gonna run to the other side of the earth."
Maybe they combined it into
They're gonna
one.
combine.
they put it together into one key in a deleted scene. Exactly.
Yeah, but you'd think it would have been like, they would have fit together.
You would have
something.
thought that it would have been so easy
Something.
to just have. You
Something.
got to simultaneously, two people have to do it at the same time.
Yeah, and then have the two Eggmans do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I thought it was so easy.
Yeah.
It was like a 7 out of 10. It was like all right.
It was. I mean, because kids movie, I doubt that Gerald is dead. But if he's dead,
No, Gerald is dead.
If he's dead, that was an incredible way to go.
So
out.
let's
Oh my
now
gosh,
move
that was
into
sick.
let's now move into linearly
Yeah, okay.
spoilers that are like unique to the film, I guess. Gerald, so Eggman, that is to say, Jim Carrey has another dance number, which is I feel like a tradition at this point
It
in these
is,
movies.
but I was rolling my eyes at first, but then they committed to
No,
it for
I-
so
Committed
long.
to the bit. And it was
No, I
awesome.
wasn't rolling my eyes at all because I knew as soon as it started, like that was okay. I saw the vision instantaneously.
Okay.
There is a lot of really, really solid. Look, there's two Jim Carreys on screen. They're touching each
Yeah.
other. They're fighting each other at the end.
Yeah.
And there's one bit where they are It's almost like a parody of the scene from Ocean's 12 where that dude is dancing through the security lasers, except in this case they're wearing suits that nullify and reflect the security lasers, so they're turning it into a rave on their own bodies. Huge commitment from Jim Carrey in general. He's got the fat suit on. He shaved his head on camera, and he's doing this dance number that he, I don't know if it didn't look like it was digital replacement. I assume they just had to shoot it twice and do a plate of both of him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Regardless, that was fun. A lot of the stuff with the two of them was fun. The scene where they're on the holodeck and they're like fast forwarding all of the family bonding activities was definitely skewing more toward this is a kids movie, but it wasn't unfunny.
It wasn't unfunny.
And because of Stone, dropping the coffee.
Because of Stone, it's like, oh, I've been replaced.
Stone was very funny in this film.
Stone was really good.
He didn't do a whole lot other than being sad.
What are you talking about when he killed all those drones?
He did kill those drones.
And rode that motorcycle real cool.
He did like a freaking Rinsler from Tron Legacy.
Joshua,
he had like 10 seconds with tails.
In my head, I was chanting Rinsler.
When Stone shows up on the motorcycle with the helmet on, and it's a mystery of who this mysterious man is.
Even though it's obvious that it's him.
So I said, "Oh my God, it's Stone." Joey leaned over to me and said, "What if this is Wade?"
Oh, that would have been
post Knuckles' training.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been awesome.
He would have had his own Flames of Disaster.
Exactly. It was not. It was Stone. I'm really glad. Like that feels like something where they could have they haven't completely shed all of the dead weight here. Like the humans felt more like dead weight here than they ever have because they had so little to do.
They had at least a bit to do in 2, and then this one it was just,
Stone is like an integral part of this.
Yes.
Stone must remain.
It's like an integral part of Eggman's emotional journey of realizing.
That's an FF14 reference.
Yeah, it's an integral part of Eggman's journey of realizing someone did care about him all along. He didn't need this. He didn't need this fake guy who just showed up a second ago and is pretending to care about him. So Keanu as Eggman, Keanu as Shadow Good.
Yes, very
some good action scenes. I do feel like this is, it's the Dragon Ball problem in general of when people can go Super Saiyan, why don't they do it all the time? So it felt like a little bit silly that both of them go Supersonic and fight, but as a consequence, they got to literally like as soon as they were like crashed on Earth after fighting in space. No, specific because they actually didn't instant transmission too much in that, but specifically as soon as I saw like lava bubbling behind them from how hard they'd hit the ground coming from space.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is gonna get nuts. And then at one point, they pushed each other so hard that tectonic plates shifted.
Yeah. It might have been one of it could have honestly been the best Sonic Shadow fight in the entire franchise.
Yeah, probably.
Definitely
more production value.
Yeah.
And then the robots that look like the robots from SA2 come out of the thing at the end. That was the thing, is that Sonic and Shadow fighting each other. There wasn't a big bad for them to really fight at the end. They fought each other, and that was really the action climax.
Because Gerald has to fight. Gerald's fighting.
The two of them fighting each other constantly.
There should have been something other than him just sending robots.
The one thing about that sorry, I was gonna say one other thing about that. Then we're gonna cut this recording and go get on proper microphones.
Rip the Bio Lizard.
Yeah.
Was oh crud, what was I gonna say?
My button.
Oh, it was weird that it was obvious they were building toward it from the beginning of Sonic is going to at some point run off without his friends and he's gonna get into trouble. But he kind of didn't. He basically won the fight with Shadow, and then at the end he didn't have to work with his friends. They went and did something else while he was working with Shadow.
Yeah.
So just from screenwriting setup and payoff stuff, they were building to that really hard. Sonic's gotta, he's gonna have to at some point put his trust in his friends.
I was waiting for them. Yeah. I was waiting for the situation where he needed his friends, and it never happened.
Yeah. I will say it was funny that they kind of recreated the freaking final Knuckles Rouge fight too, because you have Ivo has lost against Gerald and is hanging and is about to get sucked out, and then it's not Knuckles, but Tails grabs him at the last moment and stops him from dying, and they come up and
and then he deletes Gerald from existence.
It's so
absolutely
cool.
He just evaporates.
It was there was no visual effect, basically, almost. There wasn't even a fizzle. It was so weak because a human body is so insignificant compared to chaos energy. Alrighty, we'll continue this in a moment.
What was said on the boat at the beginning of 2 when he was like, I'm your father, son.
He said, I really wish I had a big cat.
He said,
Yeah.
what did Tom tell Sonic at the beginning of that?
Yeah, because
movie?
that was the whole arc, and I'm forgetting it.
See, maybe you were just saying a second ago on the way over here isn't so accurate after all.
Maybe.
But
anyway,
it was about like being responsible, like oh, you were running around. It was about people could get hurt because you're being reckless, and then Tails gets hurt
because
Sonic gets, oh no, I didn't listen to Tom's advice.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay. That was something.
But anyway, we sat down and I checked my phone and serendipitously, a friend of mine sent me 4 messages during the movie. Didn't even tell him I was watching it.
Yeah.
He said, Joey, I need you to be free at 5 p.m. your time on Christmas Eve. I pulled some strings and did something special for you. And he sent me an image with Sonic on it. It says, thanks, Joey. Your Sonic the Hedgehog holiday call for Joey is scheduled to arrive at 6 p.m. EST on Christmas Eve.
Ben Schwartz is going to call him.
I'm going to get a Sonic the Hedgehog call on Christmas Eve at 5 o'clock.
Oh, you got to record that.
That'll get added to this video right here.
I know what you're thinking. Why is that incredibly handsome hedgehog calling me? I'll give you to the count of 3 to figure it out. 1, 2 slow, 3. No, I shouldn't even say it. Let me break it down for you. It's almost Christmas. So that means celebrating with family, with friends, and with food. You cannot forget the food. All the Earth classics, donuts, grapes, chili dogs, or your favorite, macaroni and cheese. But before the celebration begins, I wanted to see if you could join me on a little adventure. And I know you love adventure, because your friend told me so. This one's a real doozy. We're going quill to quill with Shadow, another hedgehog with all my powers and none of my personality. To stop him, and not 1, but 2 Robotniks, it's going to take all my speed, Knuckles' strength, Tails' brains, and you. Will you join us to help protect the planet? Awesome. I knew we could count on you. Come on, let's go.
Sure, I'll send it to you so you can see, so you can post it for the folks back home.
I posted when we sat down, not even 1 child on my screening of Sonic right now, which of course there was.
There was 1 child.
There are going to be cheers when Maria gets Maria'd. Somebody responded, unfortunately, children were in mine. No cheers, except the one guy who clapped when the Chow Garden was shown. Amazingly, he had a kid.
Oh my god.
Also, a guy a few seats down looked a lot like Joey, so I guess Sonic fans have a type.
Damn.
It's like we all just kind of conform to a certain look, I guess.
Agreed.
Damn.
Not here. Damn it.
So,
Damn Force Chaos.
So yeah, at the end, Ivo says, I don't want to rule the Earth, not destroy it, which is in keeping with his characterization.
He does
from
want
the
to
games.
rule the Earth, not destroy it.
And being lore accurate is the most important thing to me in a movie like this.
Yeah, so true. You and Star Wars guy would get along well.
It's true. Joshua, as we were just saying a second ago, when I turned off the recording in the car as we got here, Joshua was just commenting, maybe the second movie might be, I guess I would use the word, quote, more airtight as like a children's film.
Movie, yeah.
However, this is still the vastly more entertaining film.
Absolutely.
100%.
I more meant that in terms of pacing, where I think
Yes.
I think that 2 has a lot more pipe to lay and does it much more. As crazy as it sounds, I think it did it more efficiently.
The second film is more or less entirely consistent.
It's consistent across the board. There wasn't a part where besides the Siberian thing, which is obviously the nadir of that movie.
But no, I would say that that's in keeping with everything the movie is doing, though.
Yeah.
It's operating on the same level.
And also you have to show, we have to show Tails and Sonic bonding, and otherwise you really don't get an opportunity to do that, so it serves a purpose. It was more...
The only scene in that movie that I would have just like axed entirely was when Mandy was saved by a magic boomerang.
Yeah, that was
it looked cheap.
Yeah.
But I guess they had to show more of the Four Seasons.
I think that was the problem, is like this one didn't even need to have the human characters show up in the second act. Mm-hmm. Like they could have just cut them.
They did, Joshua. Because they were out of money.
Yeah.
There were too many special effects.
I think that was my biggest problem with the movie, is the entire London sequence felt really botched to me.
They needed to.
Besides the Eggman dance sequence, it was like there was nothing to it. It was like they plugged in a flash drive and then Sonic
There was
ran.
when I leaned over to Joy during that because I saw someone say something about Sonic having to recreate, quote, a stunt from Mission Impossible, and so I was like, oh shit, he's gonna have to do like the hanging on wires thing or whatever for some reason. I saw the anti-gravity room, I was like, oh, he's gonna have to like do the thing, and there was no cleverness to the heist, which was lame.
It was
there
really
should have been.
boring.
You have 3 characters with superpowers.
Yeah,
Create a heist where you have to
seriously.
use all their superpowers. Knuckles has to climb.
We had to
Yeah.
get the people to do something. For
Knuckles has to
whatever.
climb.
But
because again, we can't, because it's expensive to animate.
And
the
that was
characters,
the thing to me, and two, the use of the human actors was a lot more creative.
Yeah.
Although
absolutely.
another win for the theatrical experience, they showed Gun Headquarters, which had 2 towers, and somebody in the back didn't comment. They were like, they gotta blow up the towers.
That man's gonna blow up the towers. Oh boy.
Second Robotnik has hit Gun.
Oh my god, a second
Robotnik has hit Gun Headquarters. That did happen.
That's what that one guy would have said if he didn't fucking die at the very beginning. What's his name? Colonel?
The Colonel, General, whatever. Did he die?
General
Or was he
Steele.
just injured? It was
No,
extremely
it seemed
unlikely.
like he died. It seemed like he died.
It seemed like he died, but I was like, well, he just got injured. But then
I think Kristen Ritter was like, oh, you're here, I guess.
No, well, she was like, I'm surprised you're, and he's like, alive? Yes, I am, when Tom was pretending to be him. So it's like, oh, did he die?
Yeah, he died.
he
that seemed to me like a death, but it's a kid's movie, so we don't want to dwell on the fact that this old man just kicked it
That
in
was
the first
when
10
he
minutes.
showed up at the Chow Garden and said, Sonic, it's good to see
That
you.
was
That might have been the
Dude,
funniest thing in the whole movie.
He had the picture.
He wasn't the president.
He
though.
wasn't the president.
He had a picture,
But-
yes, in the lapel of his coat of a little Polaroid, because we still use Polaroid photos.
Yeah.
Maybe they do that in Japan. I don't know. Of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles sitting at the table. It was the incriminating evidence that Kristen Ritter needed to go after them. So I thought it was going to turn into Gun is after Sonic, and they weren't.
I did
They
too.
weren't,
But
yeah.
they
But
did.
they forgot about that.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was.
but-
I think for me, I honestly thought that 2 was the better plotted movie.
Everything, as they say in Transformers, Sonic Adventure 2 ate the whole plate. I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I mean.
Yeah.
Ate the whole plate.
Yeah.
The whole plate. There was a lot of dangling stuff in this one. Like we were saying a second ago, I'm not sure. Like, I really feel like we could have spent even 5 more minutes with Shadow and Maria in the past.
Yeah.
I think as it stands, all of the emotional connection of the audience to that is based on
Yeah.
the fact that everybody in the audience already knows.
The fact that everyone was going Maria the second she was
The fact
shown
that
on
everybody was at the edge of their seat when we thought she was going to get shot.
Yeah, everyone was like, it was great.
I saw the theater lock in.
Yeah.
It wasn't just us. It got to them running
was
away, and
everyone.
everybody got
Everyone's
in
like,
position.
it's time.
It's time to watch this girl die.
They could have done a little more there.
They could have.
They could have easily spent a little more time there.
I mean, I thought we were going to see like, oh, the reason they tried taking Shadow away was because Gerald was going to try to blow up the world with them or something.
No,
right?
especially because we saw
Where
like
was Gerald out this whole time? It said he was in prison,
It said
but
he was
how
in
did he
prison for
break
He was
out?
also in Prison
no,
Island.
he didn't break out.
No.
He was allowed out to design the super weapon.
Because they wanted a super
Oh.
weapon. And that was also
Yeah,
really
okay.
just kind of...
Yeah, then okay, whatever.
Yeah, no, this is the problem I had with it, and I'm thinking about this way too rationally because it's a dumb...
No, you're right. No, this is the more entertaining film
by far.
but it is also technically, from like a screenwriting standpoint, like significantly
It's
sloppier than the
compared-
previous.
It was a
Compared
lot
to
sloppier.
2, it's like hot garbage in terms of plot.
It was-
I would maybe that's a little too extreme.
It was sloppier, but
It's
Sonic
funny.
and Shadow didn't fight in 2.
Yeah, and there was
This is
and there
true,
was and
exactly.
it also didn't play Live and Learn.
It didn't play Live and Learn in 2.
And this is much more streamlined. Like I said in the car,
Yeah.
like Tails being like, I used a satellite to watch you, and wow, I love you, and I'm working for somebody maybe, and I don't know. This
one was
boom.
It was a lot.
Go.
Yeah, it was a lot simpler, and because of
Yeah.
that, some details were lost. But it was a lot.
But it doesn't matter. It made for the movie was more effective overall.
that's fair.
So it doesn't really matter all that much. There's like things where you go, I wish that was a little bit better, but also like it was relatively short on cringe. I feel like there were there were a couple of
There
groaners.
was cringe, but it was not near as much as like the first
The low
movie.
budget flights line, like I honestly
That it shouldn't have been cringe, but it was.
was
No,
really
there was
bad.
other stuff in there. But I guess like the fact that like I'm sitting here and I know there was stuff that I groaned at in the theater.
Yeah, there were a lot of things where
But I don't
facepalmed.
remember any of it as bad as anything from the first movie. Does indicate
He
improvement.
didn't say meow
didn't
again,
say,
and I wanted him
meow.
to because it sucked
No,
the
it's
first time, and then the second time time they did it, I was like, if they do it a third time, it's gonna be funny.
Then it'll be funny, yeah.
Shadow should have said that with Maria.
They didn't really
the
fix the power
flashback.
scaling issue because there was no chaos control in
Yeah,
this.
and they still were doing the
Sonic
whole
did do
slow-mo.
one scene where he moved so fast nobody could see him. There's one scene,
Yep.
and it was also extremely unfunny. He ran through Buckingham Palace, and
That was really
That was cringe. That
was-
segment
the
was
entire
was
London
cringe.
segment was subpar.
I'm just thinking about the money they spent on Sonic running through London and going through Buckingham Palace. I'm like, you could have spent that on anything else. Could have spent that on Sonic doing something cool to break into the gun headquarters.
Another 15 seconds of him fighting Shadow.
Dude, I'm so sad we didn't see the Four Seasons TM blow up.
What a shame.
Maybe that'll be maybe in 4. Maybe in 4.
I really loved Eggman's reaction when Gerald says, yes, I mean, when it hits the ground, when it hits the surface, it's going to blow up everything in a whatever
25,000
mile radius, including us and other Jim Carrey, concerned Pog. So, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
It was a very genuine reaction. It was a good one. It felt like it was it was extreme and proper for the scene.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
The two of them fighting was kind of a mixed bag. Some of it was really good. When they were growing like competing animal parts, it was like kind of too slow.
It was too slow.
Like they were like not confident enough that they would be able to actually make the special effects work if they were really
good.
trying to throw punches. So they were just kind of squaring up with each other and nothing happened. But a lot of that scene was good when they were physically wrestling with each other and throwing each other around. Like that was actually
And when they
pretty
referenced the
effective.
Rouge and Knuckles fights.
I don't think that was a reference to the Rouge and Knuckles
It
fight. I
was.
think that was a coincidence.
No, that was a reference. I'm calling it.
A coinky dink.
Wade shows up for 2 seconds. He's the
Yes, he
keeper of
does.
the Master Emerald because
Which
he was
is really
trained by
funny.
Knuckles to protect the Master
Didn't
Emerald.
do a good job.
Well, I
didn't
mean, he
do
was
a very
playing
good job.
hockey with it.
He was playing hockey with it. Once again, a CIA satellite would have just
Yeah.
Maybe they do know.
maybe they don't care.
Maybe they don't care.
It's like we have nukes.
We've seen how incompetent Gun is. So
Mm-hmm.
G-U-N.
You know they have all those.
stand for
unit.
G.
You know, can I also say something? They have all those laser guns. I don't think anybody shot one of Gun's laser guns except Shadow. I don't think any of them ever got the opportunity to pull the trigger at any point
Well,
in that movie.
the dude that killed Maria
The dude
did.
that killed Maria.
Well, those were different.
Those were
different.
like
Those are
energy
different laser
weapons.
guns.
Those
Those
weren't
are-
laser guns.
Those were chaos energy
They were
guns.
plasma.
They had the orange looking. It was like Fallout weapons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a Fallout energy weapon.
But
Yeah.
it was specifically seeing the like bulbs of light on the side. It looked like the Wonderwolf from
Yeah, it
Nazi
looked kind of like an
zombies.
arc thrower, like in terms of like the projectile that came out of it, as opposed to like pure laser
It
guns.
was chaos energy.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it was still good.
No, it's like kind of like.
Sorry, I know I was kind of
no, it's
negative
fine.
there for a minute.
No,
No, it
middle
was good.
middle was kind of boring, and I feel like the second movie. I don't know. To be completely fair, also we watched the second movie in Ideal Circumstances, which was in this room with no one else around,
and also right after the first one.
right after the first one in this
Yes.
room, able to heckle as much as
And
we
I
want.
was like prepared to die during the first one because it was so boring.
It was bad.
and then the second one was like, oh, it's like a movie. So
The thing
that's
is,
But
what
I'm saying
like
anytime the second movie dragged, we could just talk, which we couldn't do in this, obviously.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's like I don't know about better or worse, but it's like if I had to rewatch one,
yes,
I would
it would
want
be
to
this one.
rewatch 3.
100%.
every time.
I
I think the highs were higher in this.
Oh yes,
That's-
absolutely. The
certain.
ending of this was awesome.
I think that it's mileage is up to you, but it's like I think when the highs are that much higher, the low points kind of fizzle out.
No, this is what we talked about. What's a skill you have as someone born before the year 2000 that no one has anymore? I can appreciate a movie with any noticeable flaws.
Yeah,
see,
exactly.
It is three is like the more enjoyable movie, even though I would say its screenplay is sloppy.
I think
that important.
But I think I'm willing to cut to a break because I think it does a couple of things extremely
no,
competently.
that's fine. I already cut to a break. I enjoyed two.
Yeah.
If we didn't make that clear earlier.
Yeah.
It really was weird that James Marsden, like almost everything that I was like, he was exactly
It was
in this movie
what I expected him to
exactly
be in the first.
What
two.
I thought he was.
I was right there with you, where it's just, oh, I'm dad character. I'm gonna sit you down,
I'm
son,
funny.
and then I'm kind of klutzy when it comes to actually doing the mission.
I got a puppet. I can't. My little hologram projector
was
isn't
so bad.
working.
The one, I mean, I guess this is The one thing I'll give him is that as a character that I really do like is like the positivity of it's like, no,
Yeah.
I love this guy so much
Yeah.
because it's like, oh yeah, they're out of town for a while. And it's like, oh, we can finally relax. And then the
they're
moment
like- they,
Sonic
like,
and
hate
crew
it.
come back, they're like, oh, thank
God.
God.
So boring with it. Sure is boring around here.
My boy.
Then Knuckles
boy.
says, "My boy, my adoptive parents. These times of peace are what all true warriors strive for. However, Eggman is back, so these are not times of peace anymore.
So true.
So now it is time to kill."
Yeah.
No, we don't want to kill anybody, Knuckles.
Yeah.
Fine. We will simply maim them.
But it was really cool. At the ending, it Live and Learn plays, and they blow up a bunch of robots, and Robotnik kills, or Eggman kills Gerald Robotnik.
It was a rearrange, but it was actually Live and Learn.
And it was done by Crush 40.
It was
good.
It was the same vocals and guitar, but it was a little bit different. And then they had a lame orchestral version of it.
I mean, they also, the Live and Learn, like, the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba was, there. That leitmotif showed up, like, 5
It
times
did.
during the Tokyo
That was the
sequence.
first. That was like the
It
first
plays
song
on the title
we
card.
Yeah, that too.
heard. Yeah, it was like the first song we heard.
The orchestral arrangement wasn't too lame. It's just that like it does the thing that movies do, where it mixes it way lower because that's how movies are supposed to
Yeah.
sound, and emphasizes the sound effects. And it's like I just want one video game adaptation
To just blast the main song.
to like really go all in on this stuff. Like these video games have memorable music, and we're gonna even if we have to arrange it to work with the scene, we're gonna figure it out.
I'm gonna guess that well, I say this, but I know who's making the movie. If someone competent made a Zelda movie, that ending credits would hit, and the main Zelda theme would come in like blasting. I feel like.
Yeah, but it's the dude who's behind the failed Sony verse
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
making
right.
this
Craven the Hunter.
Now it's time for the failed
starring
Nintendo
Link.
verse.
Yeah, the failed Nintendo verse. Exactly. Like, it's not going to be because Illumination is making Mario and Sony's making Zelda.
The funny thing is that
there's no rules anymore.
the funny thing is that I think I trust Illumination more than I trust Sony. It's really funny.
Well, I mean, Sony as a whole, who knows? But whatever his
That
name is,
specific
Avi
guy.
Arid. Yeah, no, thank
Yeah.
you. But
They literally picked the 2 worst companies.
But I mean, there's probably worse out there somewhere.
They could have gone DreamWorks and any other live action studio.
Blumhouse.
So true.
A Blumhouse make a Majora's Mask adaptation.
That would be sick.
No, it wouldn't. It sucked.
You're right,
balls.
it would.
The what's going on over here? My computer did something.
Aru.
Okay, that's I don't know what happened. It's gone
Eggman's
now.
hacking.
Eggman's hacking our mainframe.
It's Sage.
It's possible.
I think I would start with 1 mainframe and then maybe move up to 2 mainframes.
Eggman did loosely reference Twitter speak at least.
I felt like that was not Twitter speak really, because first of all he said unsubscribe, which you can't do on Twitter. He said it's an unsubscribed, blocked, reported,
yeah.
which is just like I feel like is very in keeping with the way that he's talked for all these movies. So there was I feel there was not a definitive.
They did say that Shadow peed in a Hot Topic once.
They just said that he was from Hot Topic, which is a joke that's been around long before the fan dub.
I know. There were definitely. I mean,
There were more deep
I'm
cuts.
just saying that the laser, when it hit the moon, the laser was red instead of blue, and the line it left in the moon was not like dark orange and red. It was a bright yellow, like glowing line.
Mm-hmm.
Is all I'm saying.
Okie dokie.
Take that for what you will.
All right. So again, reminders. We're talking about spoilers. Did Jim Carrey finally decide
But he's done.
done acting? Because both versions of him seemingly die in this film.
I mean,
Eggman sacrifices himself to save planet Earth.
he'll be back.
I mean, Shadow survived.
I mean, Shadow survived.
Yeah, but
and-
Shadow, there's no rules.
This is true.
Well, it's
he
just,
even had his limiters off. He was at maximum.
I mean, that's
right.
that's what's great about the way he died, right? Is that it's with this whole chaos energy thing.
So it leaves itself very open to be like, is he coming back?
Exactly.
Well, we can bring him back. Is he not? Okay, well,
and
he's
so they
just
went,
dead.
"Hey Jim, we know you said this was your last movie for real this time, but if you do want to come back, we've written you out if you want out, but we can also bring you back very easily."
That being said,
that was why they did it.
If
that way.
he doesn't come back, they are going to have a very,
I was
very
gonna-
rough task ahead of them.
I was gonna say, so it wouldn't be Eggman. They'd have to create a new villain. What is an actor who can who is an actor who could do something even like vaguely adjacent? Not like a kid, not an imitation of Jim Carrey. I
But-
mean,
Yeah.
but who's someone who
same
has that kind of
energy.
screen presence and draw. Who's someone else who can be on a poster that says Jim Carrey and Jim Carrey,
Seth
and you don't go,
Rogen.
huh? Did you say Seth Green?
I said Seth Rogen.
Okay.
I didn't bring it up earlier, but I was thinking, I was like, there's another world out there where Seth Rogen was Eggman, and that was like that's the original Sonic movie, that before the edits.
Or Jonah Hill before he lost all that weight.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not that it couldn't be done. It's just
Jesse Eisenberg.
With a shaved head, he's reprising his role as Lex Luthor.
Exactly.
I don't know. That's. I would not want to be the one tasked with figuring this out.
Well,
That's true. Well, the solution is that if you lose Jim Carrey, again, I think this movie's going to make like a shitload of money.
A zillion dollars.
I think the next movie could easily be set entirely on Mobius.
Yeah.
And there's no human actors at all, and we circumnavigate the problem.
I don't see it happening, but they could.
I disagree in that having it be, they're coming after Earth is just such a good premise for a sci-fi
Well, I'm
thing.
not saying it wouldn't be on Earth.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, there wouldn't be scenes on Earth. But I'm
It
saying
would be
I think
they're coming to Earth from this other place. We need to go there and stop it at the source.
and that's fine. And you cut to Gun headquarters once. You cut to Green Hill and Wade once. We don't need any of the other human characters.
Just Wade. He's the only one that matters.
And he's like,
Wade and
hey,
Stone.
Sonic, if you need help, me and Stone got you now that we co-run this coffee shop in Green Hill.
It's a front for Gun now.
I mean, literally, they run gun equipment out of the back.
No, probably Stone and Tails are both working together on their own tech. It's a combination of Tails tech and Egg
Yeah,
tech.
they're gonna build a tornado that can go interplanetary.
Yeah,
Well,
the
it'll
one
be
scene
like the
with
X-Wing
Tails and
blue
Stone,
tornado.
it was
That's what I'm
like
saying.
15 seconds long, but it was great. It was in this movie.
The what?
The one scene with Tails and Stone,
Yeah, it
where
was
they're
good.
walking together. That
You
was
are absolutely adorable.
that was such a funny scene.
That was good.
Yeah. So you know, like you're like Sonic's assistant. You get paid time off, or it's not really his assistant. We're teammates. You know, he's the leader. I'm the brains. I do all the tech stuff, and Knuckles is the muscle. You know, we make a really great unit, especially because we're not just
friends.
a teammate. We're friends, like you
Like
and
you and
Eggman,
Eggman,
right?
right?
You guys care? Oh yeah, just like me and Eggman.
So sad.
So many times in the movie,
he did have a hard life.
So many times in the movie, you could just see tears on the edge of his vision welling up
Around me are familiar
until the
Eggmans.
tears flow at the end.
Familiar Eggmans, Ivo Robotnik. Worn out Eggmans is Gerald Robotnik.
There was one joke.
Eggmans.
There was one joke that for us, like for the adults in the audience, that where Gerald and Ivo meet, and they're talking about like how similar they look, and they both like look dead at the camera and say it's as if we're the same actor playing two different characters. But I think that was literally done because some children are stupid.
Yeah.
And they wanted children to get the joke because they know that there's scenes in the movie that won't be as funny.
Yeah,
if you don't know that it's the same
yeah.
person.
They should have looked at the camera and be like, we're like that actor that played multiple
The Grinch.
characters in the series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
No, they would have to do the Grinch. Kids don't know. Kids don't watch series of unfortunate events.
They watched the
anymore,
new one on Netflix.
but the Grinch stuck around apparently.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess it's time.
We gotta talk about how shitty your prediction was.
I think my prediction was
think your
actually
predict-
fantastic.
That's how it always goes. We always invent these better
It
scenarios.
was
in our mind.
the stock scene that is absolutely a de-escalation from the reveal of Shadow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
it was
what
like
was the wording that you heard? It was epic. What was it?
I forget what somebody said. Somebody said something. I saw a number of
It
people
was-
talking about how good
Whoever
it
was like, "Oh man, dude, that was so unexpected and unbelievable."
No,
It's like,
it
you're
was
cringe.
quite literally
It was-
a logical computer program
It was
would have
like
written that.
no,
to
I was
be
gonna say
the
it was like it
post-credits
was
scene.
the like two most predictable things.
Joshua,
Yes.
go to ChatGTP and say write the post-credit
GPT,
scene for
Jacob.
ChatGTP.
Oh my God, you got it wrong twice.
I don't give a shit. I have no respect for this.
Stupid
Tell
AI.
ChatGPT to write the post-credit scene for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 right now and see what it spits out. ChatGPT, write the post-credit scene.
I got it. 1 second.
For Sonic the Hedgehog 3 starring Jim Carrey and if you do that it'll be Jim Carrey focused.
Yeah. The post credits scene for
Sonic
And reveal the fact that ChatGPT scraped the scripts for the first two movies, and so much other stolen text. When it nails it perfectly, when it knows the names of James Marsden's character and
That's
and Agent Stone.
That's a lot of words.
Too bad I'm not reading them.
this is
Oh boy, what do we got?
Oh my gosh. This is... It got half of it. It got half of it.
Esoteric knowledge.
I will go ahead and read it. This is GPT-4. It's hilarious because it's like half what happened and half Marvel.
Okay.
Let's go.
Here we go. Setting a dark,
that just
shadowy
happened.
location in the ruins of an ancient crumbling temple.
That was half right already.
The camera pans slowly, revealing a mysterious figure standing amidst the rubble. The figure is cloaked in shadows, but their glowing red eyes are visible as they stare at a shattered, glowing Chaos Emerald on the ground. A faint, chilling chuckle echoes in the distance. Mysterious figure. The time has come. The pieces are falling into place. The camera pulls
Fucking
back.
AI.
This camera pulls back to reveal a more detailed silhouette of the figure. A tall, imposing, and armored with a familiar but slightly altered design. A metallic arm extends from the figure's side. And the sound of gears turning can be heard faintly as they approach the Chaos Emerald. Sonic, you think you've seen it all, but you're about to meet someone faster. Someone who will take everything from you. The figure kneels down. The camera finally reveals them completely. Metal Sonic, but with a sinister new upgrade. He can become multiples Metal Sonics. It doesn't say that.
Okay, I was gonna say, you better not say that or I'm gonna
The
freak
metallic
out.
creature's eyes flicker deep red as he absorbs the energy from a shattered Chaos Emerald,
Just
with
like the
power
Gizoid.
surging into its core. Sparks fly from his body with a faint outline of a new form. It begins to take shape around him, a dark, enhanced version of his already dangerous self. Sonic, I am your superior. The screen cuts to black. Sonic will return.
Also, I want to tell you something important.
that
If you
right?
wrote a if you wrote a screenplay like that, your ass would be out the door so fast. That is so like ChatGPT is too verbose.
Yeah.
and it loves the word delve too much.
Well, shit. I accidentally reloaded the page, so I lost that forever. But
That's
I read
fine.
it.
We recorded it.
Yeah, exactly.
We
so
saved it.
yeah.
Metal Sonic shows
Whoa,
up.
who could have
exactly-
seen that coming? It's Metal Sonic, and he has a
Yeah.
new power because there's a lot of them.
To exactly one person's surprise, apparently, Metal Sonic returns. And
This
now
is-
he's Shadow Clone Jutsus.
Yeah, there were a lot of Metal Sonics, which I guess is like a reveal. And the fact that a lot of Metal Sonics walked out is like an admission that Metal Sonic showing up
It's
isn't
not cool.
interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Metal's not a character.
And then-
Metal's an obstacle that always gets in my way.
And then lo and behold, another character shows up and helps Sonic deal with the Metal Sonics.
Which
Who
character could it be?
you
It's
see
Amy.
a pink line, and you think for a second, well,
I thought maybe it was Blaze.
maybe
I was
it
like,
could
no,
be
I knew it was,
Blaze, but
it was Amy immediately.
the copium in your veins.
Yeah,
says it
exactly.
could've
It
The
was
been
fact that
just
she was
copium.
wearing a hood made me think for like a split second it'd be really funny if we saw the Pico hammer, we saw the pink, and then they pull the hood back.
Remember
and
me?
And it's like big or
It's
something.
Wade.
Yeah. But yes, Amy shows up in a shot that is like eerily reminiscent of Yuffie's like magical girl transformation from the Intermission DLC.
Yeah.
Where she's in front of the moon silhouetted and with her
Intergrade,
hammer.
not intermission.
Intergrade was the name of the PS5 patch.
Oh.
Intermission is the name of the
Okay,
DLC.
my bad.
They're
I'm
two
so
different
sorry.
things.
I'll kill myself now.
And yeah, so Amy
Just like Eggman.
Amy throws the Pico hammer, and it flies like Captain America's shield,
yeah, and does
takes
like a
out all of
boomerang.
them in like a move.
And then she catches it.
And she
then-
lands, and she takes the hood off and doesn't say anything because we haven't hired the
And then
actress
she
yet.
says, "Never fear, Amy Rose is here off
Never
screen."
fear, Amy Rose is
And-
here.
So I'd like.
It was weak.
It was weak.
So I will say
It was weak.
I had that wrong.
Uh-huh.
Just because I'll go first with recap of my incredible prediction, which
Okay.
was it's gonna be chaos comes through a portal, and then you have like Big and some other characters fall behind.
You were pitching your own post credits scene a moment ago.
Yeah, so here's the thing. The main thing was I was expecting, yes, villain, and then introducing a new character.
Yeah.
I thought that they would introduce Amy already, so who's left? Oh, Big, and then someone else from Wrestling 1. Here's the way that you actually make this kind of interesting and set up like a little bit of intrigue and have like an interesting final scene, right? Mm-hmm. You have it be, okay, same premise, Sonic is running around.
Sonic is running.
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. Real character development happening here. But no, we see that the Chaos Emeralds
all disappeared at the end of this one, right? And they weren't
Yeah.
just back as the Master Emerald. So it could be, oh, I'm going out
we
to
gotta
hunt it.
explore the Earth and find all those Chaos
you
Emeralds.
could even have like Tails on comms being like, Sonic, I'm picking up that it's near your position.
Strange entity reading on the radar.
radar.
Like,
Or maybe it's even like, oh, there's two of them there, right?
Yeah.
And then,
I'm picking up 2 energy signals. Gee whiz. This is gonna be over faster than we thought.
And then he gets there, and there's the emerald, laying on the ground, just in the woods or wherever it is, and he's like,
Stop talking about the Gizoid.
He's like, I found it, right? And he's walking up to it, and then as he's walking up to it, basically he slips. And he's like, what the heck? And he slips down backwards, and there's a pool of water in front of him that then coagulates. And it's Chaos 1. He already has one of the emeralds, right? And Sonic's like, whoa, what are you doing, you big drip?
You big drip.
And is basically, like not really attacking him, not sure what to do, but is then like going to go walk up and all right. I'm kind of losing this, but no,
you are losing it a little bit. You're now turning into the ChatGPT version. It's going on for way too long.
You should ask
I know, right?
ChatGPT what you should say next.
Right, the scene where Chaos appears in Sonic the Hedgehog 4.
Or
Sonic delves.
Don't have him have an emerald. It's just a pool of water dripping.
Yeah,
along,
I thought when you started describing it, I thought you were just going to show like a little bit of water leaking out of like a cracked.
No, that was going to be what it is. It was just some water. It was going to be drizzling down, and and Sonic's like reaching down to interact with the water, right? And the emerald's like right here, and the water's like clearly trickling towards the emerald, right? And he's like about to touch the water, and then you either have Amy or some other character who knows
jump
about
in is like, don't touch it, don't touch that,
get that emerald and get out and follow me. We have a lot of work to do, type thing, and that's how you end it. And then it's like, okay, you're at least setting up intrigue for the next one.
This is because we already have intrigue with the Metal Sonics.
No, we
as well.
don't.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Who made them?
Who cares?
Why are they there? Who has a grudge against Sonic if the Eggmans are dead?
The Eggmans are dead. Maybe Agent Stone blames Sonic for Eggman's death. I don't think he would. That doesn't seem in character for him.
Agent Stone is a nice man.
It could be that much like in the IDW run, when it started following the events of Sonic Forces, Eggman has amnesia. But it could be that he has phantom memories of a blue hedgehog of all places, and he's like designs a robot in the image of this creature that he can't get out of his mind.
Yeah,
he keeps
I like that idea.
But it is a curious thing because Amy kills them all with ease.
Yeah,
when Sonic couldn't.
Well, he could have. That's the thing. We don't know.
No, that's not. No, Amy is canonically stronger than Sonic.
No, this is true.
Amy can canonically do a lot more physical damage than Sonic can.
She's like a middle ground between Knuckles, Shuckle, and Sonic.
Yes,
in terms of speed and strength. Yes.
But the thing is like a movie threat. Metal isn't the end all be all. Even if he turns into like the giant, the Metal Overlord or whatever, like that's not really an interesting film.
It's just 2 again.
You can't build a film around that. Is the point?
No, I mean you could do what's his name from the 2D games? It's not Metal Sonic, but is Metal Sonic.
It's just like I said, it's
the
like
stronger version. These are his minions, but that's lame.
It really is like it's a weird admission because like the point of Metal Sonic is supposed to be that he's a perfect copy of Sonic. Who does it? You do everything that I do, but I know what you're going to do before you do. Whatever he says in the OVA when they're running into each other's heads there.
But it was good.
It
was good enough.
Having dozens of them show up is like, oh yeah, they're not interesting enough to build a movie around, so he's going to fight a horde of them like Age of Ultron, the best Avengers movie.
Yeah,
but then Amy kills them all.
And I think
that's the problem is it's like, okay, he's not a threat. They already established that he's not really a threat.
Unless he's just in sheer numbers.
But who cares?
Chaos isn't a character either, but I feel like Chaos just makes sense as a visual threat if you're setting the damn movie on Earth. No. If you're gonna have human characters.
Here's the thing: if you do Chaos, right, the plotting becomes very simple. In terms of, okay, threat is established, he grabs 1 Chaos Emerald, he beats Sonic in a fight, right?
Yeah.
Then from there, it's okay. What can this thing do? We need to find out what this is. And that's how you get human characters involved. You just say that this is some sort of ancient Mayan god or something.
Yeah, but there still has to be.
Well, no, it'll be from the original plan.
Well, that's fine too, right? But it's you can have human characters doing research behind the scenes, trying to figure out what this looks like.
That's what I was pitching. That's what I was pitching with my Blaze film.
Yeah, exactly, right. And then, But what you have is chaos can't be everywhere at once, right? It's just not part of the character, right?
Yeah.
So how do you make this interesting as a globe-trotting thing? Because chaos probably can't move around as fast.
He can move fast. He can look. Everybody can teleport in this series. It doesn't matter.
You're right.
All the characters teleport constantly. Chaos can move really fast because he can
commune with the ocean.
No, he can either commune with the ocean or he can intentionally evaporate himself and turn into a fast-moving cloud.
That would be
sure. Why
sure.
not?
But also, what I was
take
going to
it.
say is you could have from some other planet, right?
Stuck on a whole
You just
other
have
planet.
you have the cult of chaos shows up. As dumb as that sounds,
No, it's
right?
it's Black Doom.
Oh God, no. it's-
Joshua, Shadow came out of a Black Doom. He came out of a Black Doom like meteorite. It looked like the Black Doom logo. It looked like the thing. It looked like my big effing thing.
I know, but that's gonna be 6.
Oh, yeah,
that's gonna be that's gonna be the final one, dude.
Yeah, we
They're
never
not
even
dead.
covered it, but like Shadow is just an alien in this movie.
Yeah, just straight up.
He's from a comet from space. He was not created, but well, you know what I mean.
Well, we have a lot of questions. He doesn't know anything about his origin, which is really glossed over. I don't remember anything about where I came from.
Yeah, that's
it's like
literally
one.
it.
It's like one line.
And like
He
at
was-
the end.
Well, we
Well, no, it was at
clearly
the
see
beginning.
he
It's
was
not
hatched
a
from
flashback.
an egg.
I don't know if that was. I think it was
not
more like
No,
he was
it
just.
was like a comet thing.
It was an ODST entry device.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, movie is entertaining,
Yeah.
but is still not.
People overhyped that post-credits scene. It would have been
Yeah.
like fine if I hadn't gone in and being like, "Oh, this apparently is going
Well,
to be good."
I would have had the same response, which is that's expected.
No, I would have had the exact same response no matter what people said, which was, yeah, okay, that was the most stock ending that could have been.
I cannot believe that ChatGPT got half of that right.
Yeah, because it's the obvious thing.
Well, yeah,
that was my point.
I can't believe it said Sonic will return at the end. I really liked that detail.
This movie does. If Jim Carrey doesn't come back, this movie really does have its work cut out for it.
Yeah. And I think that's why, again, Chaos just is a force of nature villain. Like, while you're trying to figure out, okay, how do we replace Eggman?
But you still have to have something accompanying Chaos, because
Well, exactly. You have the cult of Chaos, and it's a bunch of CGI furries.
Sure, but then who? Like, what is the? You have to have a.
You have evil echidnas. Evil echidnas, and you have to call.
Sure.
Yeah, the whole
whatever.
conflict that they were setting up in the first two movies because they didn't know what they were doing.
They show up, and it's those guys are trying to summon Chaos because it's their day.
I know, but then you still have to have the charismatic villain, like not charismatic to the people, but you have to have a villain to the.
I know, to the
is
audience.
gonna
I understand
like.
what you mean. But this is also why I say, at this rate, maybe just make it about the cartoons.
Or
Maybe
you
just
have
make it about the
Chaos
cartoons.
could possess a human body, and you get to have like
And they grow a
Wade or
tail.
something.
Oh, I figured out who can replace Jim Carrey as the charismatic villain. Jack Black.
Kill me. I
And Steve.
No, man. No, you have.
He's the villain. He's Bowser from Sonic now.
No, you have a part.
He's literally Bowser from
from-
Sonic.
No, here's what you actually have happen is that Chaos is able to like detach a part of himself, right?
Uh-huh.
And so he's able to like.
He detaches a part that becomes Jack Black.
No, it's Wade. It's Wade becomes. He
takes
villain.
over-
Oh, he
Wade.
takes over Wade.
Yes,
And
he
Wade
takes
grows
over
a
Wade.
tail.
Wade grows a tail.
and he becomes like all powerful.
And
Because
then-
but
powers.
he's saved by Big the Cat, and they become best friends and go fishing in Green Hills.
That's Tom. He's the one who fishes.
No,
Wade-
It could
but
be
no.
Wade,
Wade is
though.
also goes fishing. He said he went ice fishing
you're
with
right.
Tom.
You're so right.
He's gonna grow a tail, get part of Chaos in him. Big will be in the B plot because he's
You know, I
big,
guess
and he'll save Wade.
Yeah, earlier you said
like this film
You
way
said
better.
that Chaos can't detach himself, but that he can because he took over the frog.
Yep.
So he can venom.
Yeah,
I
he
guess.
can venom. That's what I'm saying. That's how you get your character. That's why it's like Chaos.
Oh,
is set
Jared
up-
Leto is the charismatic villain.
I like it. I was gonna say
He doesn't have a job anymore with the Sony verse, with the Sony
Well,
Spider-Man
but he's
verse.
got Tron 3 to do,
said
Jacob, and then
I'm-
Tron
Oh,
4,
yeah,
and
he
then
did.
Tron 5, and then Tron 6.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't forget
the Joker.
Yeah, I didn't
Sonic.
forget.
I'm the Joker, baby.
Joaquin Phoenix could be the charismatic villain.
Walter
Napoleon himself?
Well, no, because you said Joker. That was why. Anyway, so
Chris Pratt
my feeling
is Eggman 2.
My feeling after all of this is that I shotgunned 3 children's movies in 2 days, and I'm questioning what I'm doing with my life.
Was it worth it?
I'm questioning why do I do any of
The
this?
second 2 were fun.
We do it for Sonic. Like we do
You
it.
may do it for Sonic.
We
for
all
Jared.
do it for Sonic.
That's what the ChatGPT basically wrote.
Basically. The fact that it was Metal Sonic talking about how much he was wanting to get revenge on Sonic was very funny.
Just think about how up we are now compared to 10 years ago in liking Sonic.
Like Sonic, like Sonic, like Sonic, like Sonic.
I wonder if that kid, maybe that kid could have a cameo in 4.
I mean, he's got a YouTube channel.
So I'm saying he's an adult now.
He's like in college. I think he's like a college senior.
He got like a little cameo.
We need the Sonic Forces OC, and he needs to voice him.
Oh God.
Okay. I like that. Yeah.
Are there any
the
other?
rookie shows up. Yeah.
Are there
That's good.
any other human villains in Sonic?
There's Nega Eggman. That's why I keep saying him. That's it.
But that's also Jim Carrey, so.
Well, that was your theory. Was maybe Gerald. Maybe when he's thrown into the chaos energy, he actually got warped to another dimension. So
yeah, or maybe he's
three different Jim.
Maybe he's a
right
cartoon character now.
He could be a cartoon character now. Now. He got turned into a cartoon,
or he gets fused with chaos.
What are the? What other villains do we have? That's the problem. Is there's not a deep roster of villains.
No,
when it comes to
there's
Sonic.
not.
like Mario.
Ones that are there are like
it's not like Mario.
Yeah, it's not like Mario. It's true.
You've got the Goobers from Chronicles Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah,
you have the Gizoid.
You have Black Arms, so I keep looping back
You
to
have
him.
Black
And he's
Arms.
set up in this movie.
You mean
You
Black
have-
Doom?
Black Doom is the
Doom,
character.
yes.
Black Arms is the faction.
There
You
you
have
go.
Zavok and the rest of those losers.
Yep.
You
have Infinite.
You have Infinite Cringe.
You do indeed have Infinite.
You have
Memphis, Tennessee, and Infinite will not appear in any of these.
never.
films.
No, dude. Memphis, Tennessee is going to show up at this exact same time that Sonic kisses.
You have
Louise.
the Iblis, which is also just like chaos, a force of nature that doesn't work.
If you're gonna do one of them, you would do Chaos, not Iblis, because they're the same thing.
Correct.
And one of them is like actually.
One is
You do one
interesting.
You do
not interesting.
You do
but
both
cool.
at the same time on different parts of the planet.
Everybody
That
seen
would
it.
be cool. Fire and Ice, Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice.
Yeah.
Okay, both of them at the same time.
good.
Maybe that could be interesting. But my thing is, like, everybody's seen a fire.
Oh,
monster.
that
Most
would
people haven't
actually
seen
be
a water monster.
okay. That's actually kind of interesting.
Iblis, and Chaos both at the same time.
No, but
Godzilla movie.
also you have it be that the Echidna faction, their god is Chaos, and the Owl faction, their god is Iblis.
Ooh.
Oh. Okay.
This isn't happening.
No.
This
it
won't
would never
happen.
happen.
But they've wasted all this time setting up all this stuff about Sonic's homeworld, and we've learned nothing about it.
Yeah.
That's something.
And it doesn't matter because they're all dead.
Well, that's
Except
what
for
that's what
Knuckles.
we've been told. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, I honestly, with all the Echidnas though, that was the main reason why I was like, Chaos will be the next villain.
What happened
Because like
to-
obviously.
No, somebody else killed them.
They did, yeah, 'cause I was gonna say, it was Long Claw
Sonic's
was-
mom was being killed by echidnas. Then Knuckles says my tribe died the day they left.
Yeah, so
the Long Claw didn't kill him because they were killing Long Claw.
Had a fission explosion.
There is a third faction that killed all.
just ripped off her feathers. There was a suicide vest.
What are you? What are you? The Predator blows itself up.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
there's another faction we still don't know anything about. Because there were the humans that came out of the portal and attacked Eggman before Knuckles at the beginning of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 that were never explained.
Yeah, what the hell was that about?
I thought those were other Echidnas, just bigger Echidnas.
That was what I was joking, was like, oh, those are just tall echidnas. But
Yeah.
then we saw adult echidnas.
Well, yes, but I'm wondering if that was just they didn't want to do the special effect.
No, because they were as tall as Jim Carrey. There's somebody else out
there's
there.
Something out there.
Something that whoever was behind that first movie, like, thought, they're doing their own thing and they don't give a shit about Sonic. A third faction was going to be revealed, and
Then that third faction made Metal Sonic. You just answered your own question.
possibly. Except I think that whoever that dude isn't there anymore, because none of the shit that he was setting up in Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 was in Sonic 3.
God,
The
it's
whole
Had
not.
nothing to do with anything.
I keep joking about Chronicles, but I would love those
Shut
Echidna
up.
designs to come back. It's
Shut
cool.
up.
The future armor Echidna designs are cool. Okay.
Not having all the Echidna tribes and Chaos show up just seems like a missed opportunity.
Let's
make
have a
the
look
next one.
at the screenwriters.
Because that one, if you don't have to have Eggman back, it's just such a no-brainer. This one you do need to have a human villain.
Chronicles does have Gizoid robots in it.
It does indeed.
Miller.
It does.
That would suck.
There's like a red one and a blue one, and they're mini bosses, and they're really tough. I remember that.
Okay, I'm looking at screenwriters. Give me a second here.
Are we missing any major villains? You have the stupid storybook games, but those are whatever.
Well, yeah, we got Lancelot.
You have Evil Genie, and you have Evil Arthur.
Okay, the two writers who wrote the first film did in fact write all three, but another guy named John Whittington came in on the second, and he's attached to the third as well. And he wrote the Lego Batman movie, the Lego Ninjago movie, does he write them? Let's see. Yeah, film writer. He was a writer on two of the Lego movies. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and 3, DC League of Super Pets. He wrote on Knuckles. So I don't know. At least like the Batman movie and Lego Ninjago movie means he has like nerd bona fides, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I heard good things about that Batman movie.
The more I'm thinking about the third one, if they don't get Eggman back, I think they're just gonna have to make someone new.
Would they just make the King of Soliana a villain?
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not? Why not? He's evil, and Elise has to stand up to him and take over her kingdom.
And that way you introduce Elise without having to have her make out with Sonic.
But then you lose the whole "Don't Cry, Elise" plotline that everybody loves so much.
That won't be in the.
What do you mean?
Everyone loves
The Flames of Disaster is associated with Knuckles now.
Yeah. Knuckles.
Well,
No.
Soliana...
Oh my god, no, here we go.
The European
okay.
micronation of Soliana will be the setting of whatever the next Paramount Plus spin-off show is.
Yeah.
No, this is what. Okay, no. All right, let me cook. Okay,
let him cook.
It's the same. It's the same plot line, remixed slightly. And when she starts crying, her tears start pooling and become chaos instead.
That would actually be... I'd be okay with that, as dumb as it is. The tears of
But
disaster.
you need chaos
Yeah.
like getting bigger and bigger and more dangerous across the course of the movie.
No,
that happens
I mean,
at the end.
but that would be the thing. Is she like a couple
That's
of
the
tears?
inciting
But
incident.
she's in Venice, right?
Okay.
So then there's like canals running alongside and go.
We already know that he doesn't just get powerful by getting in water. big
Are you
drip.
telling me it's not a cooler visual to have chaos in Venice than have Iblis in Venice?
No,
No,
it's a
I mean,
super
I
cool
agree.
visual. Well, here's the thing. Also, they have to actually make it look good.
Well, that
Yes.
would be hard.
They got money. That's what I'm telling
They
you.
do. But are they gonna? But is somebody gonna say we need to spend all this movie making cool water effects? And
How many good villains are there? Human villains are there in Sonic X? Y'all should know.
Sonic X.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We're leaving out the Metarex. We got to bring the Metarex
The
back.
what?
The Metarex.
What are you talking about, old man?
Do you not know, or are you just?
I
gaslighting
do not
me?
know what the
You don't know who the Metarex
I don't.
are?
I know who Conrad von Metternich is.
The Metarex are the villains of Sonic Season 2 or Sonic X Part 2.
Those are the aliens they fight when they go to outer space.
They're robots in the very
The
first
Goongas.
They're big mechas, and the very first episode establishes that Super Sonic is fighting one and can't even scratch him. So Sonic makes the genius plan to shoot the Chaos Emeralds in different directions in the galaxy.
At least according to Wikipedia, they've actually kept these budgets like pretty close between films. I mean,
I guess you got all the 3D models.
There's
using
been
now.
only a slight increase on each one, and to be completely fair, actually, the budget for Sonic 1 was probably actually a lot lower until they realized they hit the panic button on redoing all the special effects.
Yeah,
that probably increased it a little bit.
Yeah.
But according to Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. Budget of 85 to 95 million on the first film. Budget of 90 to 110 mil on the second one, and a budget of 120 mil on
you
this third
also
one.
have to remember that 2 is about 25 minutes longer than 3.
Oh, I mean, there's all kinds of things that account for cost. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, I'm just saying doing that effect for that extra amount of time, like, I'm on a minute per minute basis, the amount of money spent on that second one was probably not as high.
I think this movie is going to make
Gangbusters?
a lot more money than the
Yes,
second
I
movie
agree.
did. I think this movie's going to make a lot
It's
more
already
money.
doing well word of mouth.
All the kids that saw the previous film
We'll
and
go.
gave the second movie a box office of $405 million are all going to go, and a lot of adults who didn't go previously are going to go,
It's
and a lot of
also-
adults who didn't go previously are going to go twice.
It's also the week before Christmas, and
Yes.
so lots of families are going to be going to the theater, and
Yeah.
this is competing against Mufasa, and I just don't.
Oh, no.
Hold on, Mufasa is out, right?
Yeah, it's out.
When did it come out? Last
today.
weekend or
Like
this
last
weekend?
weekend. I
believe
Hold on.
It was? I thought it
I
was
think it
this
was,
week.
I saw, or maybe it was today.
I thought it and Sonic were releasing.
Mufasa,
night-
Rotten Tomatoes, come on. Load, you son of a bitch. I need to know. I need to rubberneck this trash
I need to
fire.
kill! I need to kill! That's what Mufasa says when he kills.
And
what's
well,
his
Sonic will go, I'm making too much money.
name? Is it not working?
57% on Rotten Tomatoes. Barry Jenkins' deft hand and Lin-Manuel Miranda's music go some way towards squaring the circle of life in Mufasa, but this fitfully soulful story is ill-served by its impersonal photorealistic animation style.
Who would have guessed?
It's gonna make a shit zillion dollars anyway, so
But
it doesn't
will
matter.
it make more money than Sonic?
No,
I hope not.
And it probably has twice the budget because they had to render every.
Let's see what the
pore on
reported
line.
budget for Mufasa is. The reported budget for Mufasa is $200 million.
Those idiots!
I bet Mufasa.
Oh,
doesn't
that's-
play
that
Live
can't-
and
that-
Learn.
That's half the price of Concord.
That has to be a mistake.
Does it?
No, not the budget. The box office for. So when did this come out? This came out tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, this number doesn't matter. Because it says the box office right now is $2,279, but the box office for Sonic is already over $1 million. So like those numbers can't exist yet. That must be for like previews or
yeah, that's
something.
previews.
That's AI generated predictions.
That's AI
Google.com.
generated skibbity projections.
It's
Skibbity's in
it's
Fortnite,
box
by the
office
way.
mojo's projections.
like it's
I
there
guess.
now. You can get a Skibbity toilet in Fortnite now. We talked about that they were going to add it, and it is added now.
Mariah Carey is currently frozen inside of a block of ice in Fortnite.
really?
Yeah, really.
That's awesome.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, because remember
The meme
la-
that they should have done that a month ago. though.
last year I commented like, okay, Mariah Carey getting in on the joke because she did the video where she's like, you hear
Yeah.
the echoing and it comes into a cave and there's people in Halloween costumes thawing her out, and then she sings the song and now they're all in costumes, Christmas costumes instead. I was like, okay, it is funny that she got in on it. It's funny to see that produced and her participating in it, but does the quote unquote the man, does the adults trying to get in on the fun ruin the joke? And I will say I didn't see any Mariah Carey's unfrosting posts organically this year.
No,
So it may have killed the joke.
it may have.
However, she's in Fortnite, she's in a block of ice. When she thaws out, she gives you Christmas presents and sings a song.
That's funny.
It's good stuff.
This is a good Sonic discussion we're having right now.
We talked about Sonic for like 4 hours
yeah, we
today.
did. It was way too long.
Yeah, we gotta stop. We gotta stop talking about this damn children's movie. We talked about Mission Impossible 1 and 2.
4 could be terrible.
We've only talked about our film discussions have been Advent Children and the Sonic trilogy.
Yeah. This is what you saw fit to invite me to.
Mission
asshole.
Impossible 1
This is just
has been the closest thing to a real film we've discussed so far.
We could discuss Andor. It's right there.
This
Well,
is
not
all.
tonight.
This is just a preamble to our playthrough of Sonic Chronicles: Dark Brotherhood.
Please look forward to our playthrough of Sonic 06 for real this time, because third time's the charm, baby.
I'm not. No, you can't make me do that, you son of a gun. I would rather play Sonic Chronicles Dark Brotherhood with like modded music or something.
Beep, beep, beep. Oh man, that music's so
We would
good.
just go into the settings and mute the music, and just like I would just MC. I would just DJ the game with like Final Fantasy 14
You just
music. or
play
something.
If
Seven
we
Rings
added
in
our
hand
own
on
music
loop.
and our own effects, we would do a better job than the final
Absolutely.
product.
I bet you could probably do that. It'd probably be relatively easy to go into the in an
I would
emulator.
not be surprised if there was an emulated mod that's like improved music and
Of
whatever.
course, if we were to do a playthrough of Sonic Chronicles Dark Brotherhood, we would absolutely use original hardware and a homebrew capture device. We would never dream of emulating a video
never
game.
once. I
on YouTube.
lost Dark Brotherhood. It's one of the only games I've ever lost.
No, you
and I-
didn't. We haven't. That's whenever we do the playthrough, we're going to use your legally purchased
no,
copy of
I was
it.
going to say I lost it and then reacquired it years later.
Because you love it so
I
much.
ordered it from GameStop's website.
Because you love Sonic
I wanted-
Chronicles Dark
I
Brotherhood
wanted,
so much.
believe.
I wanted to believe. I was like, I want to replay it, and then I didn't finish it, so I need to.
Because it sucks.
No, it's good. Shadows in it.
Wow.
Just turn it down and it's a good game.
It's
Damn. No.
It's
Yeah, I really like how there's a limited amount of money.
Froggy.
Okay.
This sounds like a lot of whiner quitter talk is what I'm hearing right now.
You
I thought we
haven't
were here
played it. You
need
I
to
thought
watch
we were
Pat's-
here, I thought
or
we were
Matt's
here to
What
like
Happened.
Sonic.
Like
We,
Sonic,
if
like
we
Sonic,
didn't
like
like Sonic, we wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Guess what? Hey, you know what?
What?
I liked Sonic 3. the
I also
movie.
liked Sonic 3.
I liked Sonic 3. You should go see the movie.
You should go see the movie so that it makes a lot of money so that next time around they just make an animated movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, look, if you have any interest, you're gonna get a kick out of this movie, I think. If you have any association, any love for that blue fuck, you'll like this movie.
The first 20 minutes and the last 30 make the other hour or so of runtime
And that
good.
runtime is not bad.
It's not bad by any means.
It's
It's a short movie, and the middle is pretty
a little flabby.
But
a little flabby.
the opening and the ending are
They
worth
carry
every
it.
penny of the
It's-
ticket.
Yes.
Alrighty. That's the verdict on Sonic 3. Now that we have laid down the law,
3 out of 3 chili dogs.
the critical intelligentsia will know what they're supposed to say about the movie now that the council has spoken.
Ah, yes.
Go, our minions. Go forth and spread good reviews on the internet.
The Robotnik land will be perfect.
Smite all those who would dare oppose your opinion.
My damn kids are telling me to go online and see some actual Sonic fans talk about this movie before I write my review for the New York Times. What's the first video on here? I'll just click on this.
I feel like we made a joke about that at some point. Like, well, not like at some point in the course of this channel, we made a joke about how people we have obviously a very small digital footprint, and it was a joke about like what's like not the most popular video, what's the most recent video on this?
Yeah, because they don't know how to search. I'll
Alrighty.
click on this one.
That's
Maybe the
that.
algorithm will sneeze.
Maybe we'll talk about a real movie
And
next time.
then they're like squinting, like
Look, we
trying to
might-
follow when we start talking about chaos and like all this other crap that should have been in the post
Listen,
credits. They're like, what the hell is this, Lois?
We might watch a real movie, but we will not watch a movie that's more real than my love for Sonic.
And that, as they say, is that.